an ID. Check of his driver's history revealed he had never been issued a driver's license. Officers then asked Manuel to get out of the vehicle and sit on a curb nearby. He had bloodshot eyes and swayed while standing when he did so. Due to the language barrier, an officer with the police department responded for translation. The officer asked how much Manuel had to drink. He admitted to drinking but could not remember how much. He did register a 2.56 blood alcohol content.
2.56?
Yeah.
0.256.
Yeah, 0.25. I was about to say 2.56.
But still, I mean, 0.256 is
that's still good after it, yeah.
That's close to death.
2.56 is a lot, though. I've never heard that one.
2.56, you are embalmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 3 times over the legal limit, over 3.
Yeah.
So, using a fingerprint lifted off a goldfish package, which, by the way, I think goldfish are some of the most overrated crackers out there.
I'll eat them, but I don't
really have
seek
taste.
them out.
They're
I
hollow.
go for the flavor blasted ones.
Yeah, those are the better ones. I would agree.
I'd rather have a Cheez-It than I would.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a big Cheez-It guy.
I like Cheez-Its
not either.
better.
I'm just saying between the two, I'd go Cheez-Its because it's
You
crunchier.
didn't wake up feeling the cheesiest, bro.
Oh,
But Cheez-It also, some of their white cheddar, I mean, they've got some flavors that do pop a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, I worked on Super Bowl Sunday. Maggie gave the sermon, and I occasionally read over it and will give her a funny line that she may not know. And she was comparing Moses stopping before the Israelites went to the Promised Land, and she was tying it to the Super Bowl. And Andy Reid's giving the pregame speech. Okay, I've gotten you this far, but I'm not going forward with you like Moses told the Israelites.
Moses do a brotherly shove.
And I was like, so Andy Reid's about to address the team, and I said, at this point, you say, guys, I woke up feeling the cheesiest. And she goes, I don't understand it. And I said, it runs at all football games.
Anybody that's watched a college football game.
People will laugh, and if they don't laugh, you can look over and blame it me. And it was huge laughter.
Oh, so she did. Did she deliver it well?
Huge laugh.
Did she deliver it well, though?
Yeah, she oversold it a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But
I don't know how you could oversell that line. They oversell it so much.
Are you critical about every sermon she does?
I tried to help her out. Yeah.
But she got a big laugh?
Oh, a huge laugh.
Did you get credit later?
She pointed right then, and she was like, he said I'd get a big laugh on that.
Yeah.
Well, at least she got a laugh because that commercial doesn't.
Yeah. It's the funniest that commercial's ever been.
That's what I said. I said everyone hates it, so they will laugh at you doing it.
Yeah.
So, using a fingerprint lifted off that goldfish package, cops identified and arrested a man for hitting a female Family Dollar manager in the face with crackers when she confronted him about stealing from the retailer. Now, cops allege that Michael Gonzalez, known right there, he's also known as Gizmo, struck the 65-year-old victim after walking out of the Florida business with approximately $50 worth of cleaning supplies and a box of goldfish crackers. The victims, cops say, approached Gonzalez as he handed the stolen goods to a passenger in a vehicle parked in front of the Gulfport store. Upon being challenged by the woman, Gonzalez, 29, allegedly, quote, hit her in the face with the goldfish crackers, causing a small cut under her lip. Gonzalez was arrested for strong-arm robbery, a felony in connection with the September 2024 goldfish incident. He was taken into custody Thursday for a prior alleged robbery, during which he stole a skateboard from a man he punched, bit, and stabbed in the face and head. This guy doesn't have any worries in the world at all. Sulphur Springs on the neck.
Yeah.
Is that where he's from?
Is that his hometown?
Maybe.
Punched, bit, stabbed in the face and neck?
Yep. Throughout the interview, police noted that Gonzalez stated this was petty.
Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Pretty amazing that there's so many quarterback questions in the NFL. 12 of them we'll try to answer later on in the show. 12 of them. That's a lot of teams, 12 different teams. We'll get to that later on in the show. It is game night for Auburn. It is game night for Alabama. We'll start with that and then go back and look at what we saw last night in SEC basketball. Let's just start right in Columbia, Missouri, what a lot of people are calling the biggest game in the country tonight, when you have number 4 Alabama, number 15 Missouri there in Como. And, Brown, you were telling me before the show that when you saw it yesterday, Alabama had opened up as the betting favorite.
Correct.
And then I told you this morning, I said, I saw Missouri was the favorite this morning. You quickly looked and...
MyBookie.ag has Missouri favored 1.
Okay.
You do wonder if that's based on Alabama's injury report.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which had Cliff Amore as questionable for tonight's game.
Shouldn't affect the line at all.
You don't think so?
Nope.
So you think this is just gamblers saying...
Yeah, I mean, Missouri's good. Missouri's really good. And Missouri, I've seen it tick up to 1.5.
Yeah, I saw 1.5 this morning.
I thought Alabama would be a 1 or 2 point favorite. I think we talked about this at some point last week. So number's not surprising at all.
So that's why I come to you now. Lance'sLock.com's Lance Taylor. Bama opened as a favorite. They're number 4 in the country. Missouri's 15 in the country, and now it's flipped to the other side. Does that give you a little... What is Vegas trying to tell? Is Alabama in trouble tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they could be. I mean, Missouri's 16-1 in this building and in the Mizzou Arena. So, much like Vanderbilt, and actually Missouri's a better team. Missouri travels better than Vanderbilt. And it's a very balanced team. You don't have anybody that's necessarily going to take this thing over. 11 guys averaging 10-plus minutes. Your top 6-minute guys are guard guys. So always run small lineups at you. But, man, I tell you, Gates has done a hell of a job with this team. 0-19, 0-18 in conference play last year, 1 and done in the SEC tournament, and now Missouri is a legitimate top 15 team.
You do hope, if you're an Alabama fan, that your trend of playing on the road continues. This is a better road team than it is a home team. For some reason, I don't know. When we brought it up to Nate Oates on the show a couple of weeks ago, Nate Oates didn't know. He had some theories behind that. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But there are 2 teams undefeated on the road in the Southeastern Conference. One of them is Auburn, and the other one is Alabama. Alabama's got 2 home losses now. So they're a better team on the road. And I think if you're an Alabama fan, let me ask you this. If you're an Alabama fan, after what happened Saturday, disappointing loss, obviously, you think you would rather play at home or on the road right now?
Boy, if it was an 8 o'clock, as they seem to be as I looked ahead in the schedule, if it was an 8 o'clock Wednesday night game after what I just saw, I cannot imagine what the Coleman Coliseum atmosphere would be like tonight.
Yep.
It would be dead in comparison for sure. So it is better for this team to be on the road.
I agree. I think you're better off on the road.
Yeah. I think you're onto something with this because I think this building is going to be, it's going to be charged. And I think that's what you need.
Off number 4,
I think that's what you need if you're Alabama is that little spark. And you're right, man, on the road. I mean, you go back to the last performance, maybe the best offensive performance you've seen all year in Austin against Texas, winning by 23. They scored 85 on the road against Fayetteville or against Arkansas and Fayetteville in a win. 88 against Mississippi State on the road in Starkville. 102 against Kentucky. 94 against A&M. I mean, that offense travels.
Yeah, it does. I don't. It's a weird phenomenon. It's supposed to be. So, I mean, just ask Texas A&M. I know we'll get to that. How difficult it is to go on the road right now in the Southeastern Conference, and Alabama is somehow playing better on the road than they are at home. So you hope that continues tonight in Missouri.
Here's Nate Oates talking about what Brown was just talking about. Hit it, Nate.
We played well on the road. Missouri's 16-1, I believe, at home. The challenges they present, I mean, kind of what I talked about my first question, they turn people over a lot with their steal percentage. They've got elite shooting. They play with great pace. And we've had some issues with that. We've got to be super locked in and ready to go both after a loss and on the road. And this game is a little bit reminiscent of the Kentucky game, coming off a loss, going on the road against a really good team. And I hope we answer the bell like we did against Kentucky.
Okay, so we'll see if they get what they had in Rupp at the not as intimidating sounding but really good at home, Missouri Arena. They need a tougher name.
That's their name?
That's what he just
Yeah,
said.
the Mizzou Arena.
Yeah,
That's what they call the place?
Yeah.
open for naming rights, though. So that's not
Yeah.
not a bad place to be
Well,
right now.
Yeah, you don't have to rip some old booster's name off,
I
right?
mean, you could have got it on the cheap after 0-18.
That's
last
true.
year.
It would have been the year to strike last year.
Open for naming rights right there. But he hits on something there. They're fast, they're explosive, they're efficient. You said they play a lot of guards, so it helps with their speed and their outside shooting. We talked about a lot of things Auburn did to win the game on Saturday. We didn't really talk about anything that Alabama did to lose the game. But I thought Alabama's perimeter defense, switching off that screen to cover open three-point shooters for Auburn, was horrible. If they give that effort on the perimeter defense again tonight, they could get their butts kicked.
Yeah, they could. And when you start to look at this Missouri team, again, that is sitting right now at 19-6, they don't have a bad loss. You know, they opened with a loss to Memphis, who's a really good team. They lost to Illinois by a possession. They lost at Auburn. They lost at Texas. They lost at Tennessee. They lost by 3 to A&M, and those are their losses. I mean, those are all quad one losses. So this is a really good Missouri team, and again, there's not a alpha that's going to go out there and dominate this. They don't have a Mark Sears. They don't have a Johni Broome.
And Lance mentions quad one. This will be a quad one win for Alabama till the end of time here if they can get it tonight.
Yeah.
So that's just adds to your resume that's already, what are they, quad one, 8-4. This will make you 9-4, give you the second most quad one wins behind Auburn, which, again, if you're trying to keep that number 2 overall seed for whatever that matters, and I guess it does, right? If being the overall number 1 is a reward, being the overall number 2 probably is a reward of its own, you may as well just stack the quad one wins. That's going to help.
Okay, so there's Alabama tonight. We'll talk about Auburn as they host Arkansas. They get the main ESPN treatment tonight with Calipari coming to town. But I want to tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing. Then I want to make a point that Yahoo is highlighting today. And this is something we know about this Auburn roster already. But Yahoo, I think, is taking it to the rest of the nation. It's a very interesting thing that I think will be copied around college basketball in this era of NIL. But Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City is there for you. A free, no-cost roof inspection. Just start with that. We had a windstorm with just straight-line winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour in our area just the start of last weekend. That could have done damage up there. Now it's raining. You may be finding out today how much damage you had done up there, or maybe you won't find out for a few months when you got a lot of damage where water has trickled into your attic. You don't know it. Then you got maybe some ice coming and freezing temperatures still to come. It's all over the place. You need to get Greg on that roof for a free, no-cost, no-obligation roof inspection. Call his cell number, 205-542-3531. Or if you're socially awkward like I am, just text him at that number, 205-542-3531. If you don't want to talk to him, just text him and set up that conversation to get him to come and check out your roof for free. He'll also explain to you some insurance changes that could impact the coverage on your roof that you need to know. He's willing to do that because he's a family guy. He's got a huge family, locally owned for over 20 years, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Nobody better than Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City there on Facebook. From Yahoo, and this is not going to shock anybody who has paid attention to Auburn, but it's being put out there now. Oklahoma City Thunder right now leads the Western Conference, I think, at least the last I checked, as the NBA cranks back up tonight.
And a significant lead, by the way.
Significant lead.
Yep.
Their average age of the Oklahoma City Thunder on their roster is 24 years, 1 month.
I was going to go 25.
24.1. They're a young roster, and they lead the Western Conference. That is very close to Auburn's average age of roster, which is 23 years and 2 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Yahoo breaks it down for you. Chad Baker-Mazara, 25 years old.
I didn't realize he was 25, and actually that's going to hurt his NBA prospects.
25. Denver Jones, National Player of the Week, by the way. 24 years old. Dylan Cardwell is 23. Johni is 22. Miles is 22. Auburn has 9 guys who play 10 or more minutes that are either super seniors or seniors on this team.
See, I would have said, and look, just book by cover, Johni would have been the oldest.
Yeah, I mean, with me, the hairline makes me look a little older. I think.
Well, Johni transferring
yeah.
from Moorhead to Auburn. He's been at Auburn. It seems like a while now.
Yeah.
I just would have penciled him as the oldest guy.
Well, Auburn has 8 of those guys that are upperclassmen that transferred in. Alabama's got 6 of those that are upperclassmen and transferred in. But here's the stat that blew me away that I had not heard yet. All right, so the comparison to the Thunder I had not heard. So close in age there. Oklahoma City Thunder, average age 24.1. Auburn's average age 23.2. 9 guys that are super seniors or seniors that play 10 or more minutes. That is 2 more super senior and seniors, 2 more than number 2 Florida and number 3 Duke combined.
Well, look, you've got everything you want with this Auburn team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got more experience than maybe an Auburn team's ever had.
Well, that's
you've
the
got
point, right?
Yeah, you've got great coaching, obviously, great guard play. You've got a great big and Broome. I mean, where's the weakness?
So you say Broome's 24? Is that what you're saying?
23.
Broome is 22.
22.
Yeah. 22.
Chad Baker's 25. Denver is the one that surprised me at 24.
Yeah.
Dylan is 23. Johni 22. Miles 22.
So Chad Baker's 25. There are 9 guys on the Oklahoma City Thunder roster younger than 25.
That's right.
Chad Baker-Mazara is older than half
That's right.
the Oklahoma City Thunder.
As Yahoo Sports pointed out in the article at the end, they're like Auburn is the heavy betting favorite to win the national championship, and 9 of them will legally be able to celebrate with champagne in the locker room, like the NBA guys do.
I mean, this is you can do this in the world of NIL and transfer portal pretty easily.
That's my point. Is this the thing in the future? Remember, for a second, what was it? It was one and done.
That's right.
Right. Let's get all these guys who are going to the NBA, the one and done guys. Now with the NIL keeping these guys around, is this the what you do for the future to have great success in college basketball?
Well, I do think, so this used to be what they would say, those 2 Butler teams. You remember those 2 Butler teams?
Yeah, the back-to-back that played for national championships.
The back-to-back that played for national championships. And really their only NBA guys were Gordon Hayward and Sheldon Mack, right?
Yep, Sheldon Mack and Hayward.
And Hayward, that was it.
But that period of time,
they had a deep
and they had
experienced team. I mean, they had guys that played a ton of basketball.
Matt, what was his name? Pasty white guy, 6'8", but really, really just good, solid block guy.
Yeah. They had our buddy Ronald Norad, who basically played for him since he was a freshman as a point guard. I mean, you just had this good veteran team, and it mattered.
Yeah.
And it's easier. By the way, it's easier to do what Auburn does or is doing right now in basketball than in football, because in basketball you can go find a Johni Broome that might be the best college basketball player in America, but is a NBA tweener.
Yeah.
Like, nobody really knows what Broome would do in the NBA, do they?
No. I would be really surprised if he's first-round guy.
But even if he's drafted, you would do what with him? Where would you play him?
Well, I mean, if he could shoot it.
Well, if he shot like he started the Alabama game, I know where you play him.
Yeah, but if he shoots like he ended the Alabama game, at least behind the arc.
You don't play him at center. I mean, that's number one. He's not a center in the NBA not that centers in the NBA get used like they used to, but still. But you get my point, right? No. This might be the best player in America. Never is the best player in football in America not going to be an NFL guy. That is never going to happen. If he's obviously one of the 1 or 2 best players in America, he's itching to get to the NFL. He's not going to be a super senior because he's going to go to the NFL after his junior year.
I would say the college football game is closer to the NFL game than maybe college basketball is to the NBA game.
Yeah, I would say almost Broome is like a Tebow. Like, Tebow ended up going in the first round, but I think a lot of people were surprised that Tebow went in the first round of Denver.
Well, Tebow's...
He's a winner. You want him on the team. But...
Great college player, but you just don't know what you're going to get at the next level.
The problem with Tebow is nobody in the NFL was running the offense that Urban Meyer was running.
Right.
So you were like, well, what's he going to do at quarterback in the NFL? They're not going to ask him to run that much. He's not going to do the zone reads and stuff like that.
Where I thought you were going with this when you brought up Butler, during that period of time, Butler and George Mason It was when the tournament really started to get topsy-turvy with these mid-majors.
VCU.
Because the mid-majors, what you were talking about, they had the experience.
Yeah.
The veterans, because all the big schools had these one-and-done guys.
That's right.
Right? Guys that were leaving after a year or 2 years, but the guys that were around for 4 years usually were only in the mid-major ranks. Right?
Really good college basketball players that couldn't. I mean, Mark Sears is in this category, too.
Right.
Really good college basketball player, one of the best in America.
Yep.
But nobody really knows what he'll do at the next level, so it benefits him to stay in college basketball.
But back to my point, it was that period of time with the Butlers, the VCUs, the George Masons, that this type of team was only found in the good mid-majors, and they would make noise in the postseason. Now, because of NIL, you're able, and the changing game in the NBA, you're able to do this at the Power 4 level now, and you've got Auburn, who is on a historic run this year.
Well, and you wonder how many of the Group 5s are going to be able to do this moving forward because they lose all those guys.
That's right. They all go up. Johni Broome from Moorhead, Mark Sears from Ohio. You had a UNA guy who's come up. I mean, they're all coming up from different places.
You can never do this in football, but I think you can do this in basketball. Now, the question becomes, and this is what Auburn is having to address right now, they just got the commitment out of that stud JUCO shooter that everybody was like, this guy could fill it up. Because they are only going to have a handful of players left behind from this team, no matter what happens. Whether they go out in the first round or win it all, there's only going to be a couple guys that are left from this team.
I think Chad Baker-Mazara, because of his JUCO past,
he can under that
play another year as a 26-year-old.
Under the Diego Pavia rule, basically. Yeah. I think he is eligible to do that. But beyond him, I mean, now you've seen some of the young guys play, obviously, and they're good, but they just don't have a ton of contributors that will be back on this team next year. So that becomes the question: is if you build a roster this way, and by the way, the whole super senior thing is all COVID related.
Yeah, and I didn't realize Chad Baker can come back next year.
Well, he couldn't until Diego Pavia challenged that.
Basically, for this year, until it's decided in courts, next year you get all your JUCO years back.
Yeah. Now, that may one day be off the board, but Diego Pavia did Chad Baker-Mazara.
Or they might expand on it and people will have unlimited eligibility.
They could, in which case you could do this all you wanted.
We do feel like we're headed in that direction. All right, so Arkansas and Auburn tonight, where Auburn's a heavy favorite at home. Both games are at 8 o'clock. Arkansas and John Calipari, you heard yesterday, Stephen Pearl on our show. Cut 6, play this again for me. Cut 6, Stephen Pearl yesterday on the next round about Auburn. It's easy to paint Alabama having to pick themselves up after that massive loss to Auburn, the high-profile game. Well, Stephen Pearl making a point against an opponent they've seen a lot in John Calipari over the years of having to do equally the same deal about coming back down and taking care of business tonight at Neville Arena.
They were happy that they won the game because that may have been the second best win in all of college basketball the entire season on Saturday. Just to be able to win at Alabama with the year that they're having was an incredible feat for our guys. So they were obviously happy about the win. Everybody was happy on Sunday, but then it was back to getting ready for a really good Arkansas team and one of the most talented teams in our league. And, they had the same, it's a different team, but like Cal's team had the same type of desperation when they came into Neville last year with Kentucky. And they beat our ass. I mean, they played harder than we did. They defended. They made big shots. They controlled the game. So, I mean, we just told our guys, listen, like the level of desperation these guys are going to come in here with is going to be similar to what Florida had, a few weeks ago. And if we don't rise to that level, we're going to get beat. So, the Alabama win means nothing if you don't follow it up with a win on Wednesday night against Arkansas.
And that's tonight down at Neville Arena. Little T will be down there for our coverage this evening. So I just...
You would lose steam after that big win on the road. Now, and I know Arkansas is talented, but you're a 16.5-point favorite.
That was what I was about to ask you. Does
I feel
Calipari
better
have
about
anything?
No, I feel better about laying the 16.5 than taking the 16.5.
And the truth is, this loss really doesn't impact you. Now, he's never going to say that. Bruce Pearl never believes that. I get it. I know what coaches feel, but... with us that can just look at the big picture, a loss here does. As long as it doesn't get you in like some kind of funk that you're not able to pull out of, or there's an injury or whatever, a loss here does nothing to Auburn.
That was never even going to be my question because we've talked about that. The gap between Auburn and whoever the second number one seed is going to be is huge. My question was going to be, does Arkansas have anything in the tank that could make this a game tonight?
I mean, they do have a lot of talent. They're playing with desperation. Cal said it after the loss on Saturday. We have got to beat somebody, and they do need one of these marquee wins. I don't know how you guys see it playing out. I think there's a much better chance Auburn would win this game by 20 than lose the game.
Okay,
I would agree.
Let me
100%.
Let me phrase it like this. Which would surprise you more? When Cal took that Arkansas team on the return to Rupp Arena and beating Kentucky that night in prime time, or Cal taking this team with less hype going into Neville Arena and beating Auburn? Which would have surprised you more?
Going into Neville and beating Auburn.
I think so.
Me too.
Especially where it falls on the schedule.
Me too, but think about how shocked we were when he took that Arkansas team and beat Kentucky.
But I think
this
that
would be more shocking.
I do, and I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think they were an 8.5 point underdog. So basically, it was cut in half. I think, if I remember that right.
Yeah. This would be at least equally shocking, if not more, to answer your question. I mean, think about that. If they got two. Look, this gets them in the tournament probably. So, I mean, that's the thing that starts to worry you if you're Alabama, Auburn. And I said this the other day.
I think that's what Calipari said. Like, we need one of these wins.
Actually, it doesn't worry you at all if you're Alabama, because every team they're playing from here on out's in the tournament. All they're doing maybe is helping their seeding a little bit. But if you are Auburn, and if you are Tennessee, and if you are Florida, any of these teams that you play, and I've got to look at all the schedules to see how many they play, any of these teams you play are on the bubble, you're their ticket to the NCAA tournament. And that's Arkansas tonight. This is their ticket to the NCAA tournament. And it's the only thing, Jim, in this whole scenario that would scare me if I'm an Auburn fan is I know this is a desperate team that is playing for their postseason life, and this punches their ticket probably if they can win this.
Denver Jones is the National Player of the Week, and I saw a tweet from Little T last night that only, I think, Walker Kessler, Johni Broome, who I think's done it multiple times, and Denver Jones are the only Auburn players ever to be the Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week. So congratulations to Denver Jones picking up that honor right there. Show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson. We'll look back, thanks to Michelson, on what we saw last night on the court. Josh Pate coming up at 10 o'clock. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, in my opinion. Got the procedure done over 20 years ago. Still have 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. Call Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-969-8100. She's going to schedule a hassle-free consultation for you. You got $0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. For more information, again, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
I'm going to call it the best win of the season for Mississippi State. I know they swept Ole Miss home and away. They almost got Alabama at home. They've had a lot of good wins, but Mississippi State beat Texas A&M last night 70-54. Josh Hubbard had 25 points last night. And the key to the game, LT, was A&M, a lot like Alabama, one of the best teams in the country at offensive rebounds. They averaged 41% of offensive rebounds of getting their missed shots. That's an enormous number.
Gosh.
They got 29% of their missed shots last night, and Mississippi State beat them.
Well, they missed a lot of shots. They only shot 35%. They turned it over 19 times. So you saw Chris Jan's defense at its best. And, Hubbard is one of those guys that can carry you. And as you mentioned, 25 points on 6 of 10 shooting. To me, Mississippi State was already a lock. I think is there 9 locks in this league already? I think it's like 7, 8, or 9.
I think there is. Later on, though, I want to talk about the other guys because it's starting to get a little scary in the bubble for some.
But I saw Mississippi State going into this game was like 95% to be in the field of 68. I still think they needed some of these big wins to give them a little momentum and a little confidence going into the tournament. But boy, they really got it in the second half last night against A&M.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 31-30 game at the half.
Yeah,
A&M
was
leading.
Yeah,
A&M leading.
I think they led by as many as 8 A&M in the first half. And I think Hubbard was single-digit scoring in the first half and went off in the second half.
Well, that's a team that, keep in mind, Lenardi said was still in the running for a 1 seed. I mean, that's how big that win is for State in terms, again, State's in the tournament, but now if you're Alabama, if you're Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, State, Texas A&M, those teams, seeding becomes your issue now. You're in the tournament, but the more I can stack up wins like that, the better shot I got to be in a higher seed, obviously.
Now, they come to Tuscaloosa, but 3 of their last 5 games are against Oklahoma, LSU, and Texas.
Ooh.
So they got a very favorable win. Because
Yeah.
remember, we talked about it on the show, my conspiracy theory is that ESPN put the big heavy hitters of the SEC against each other at the end of the year after football was over with, the NFL and all of that, to where you had these marquee games while everybody in America really is interested in college basketball going into the tournament. So if you've got your marquee teams playing each other boom, 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 boom in these final 5 games, 6 games, then that opens the door for Mississippi State, who probably doesn't have the national recognition, to go play Oklahoma, to get to play Oklahoma, LSU, and Texas. Down at the mids or the bottoms.
Yeah, there's a example of what I was talking about earlier. Now, State's 26th in the net. So it depends on where these games are played for some of those teams. But for Texas, Oklahoma, LSU doesn't factor into this, but Texas and Oklahoma, they desperately need good wins.
Yeah,
so that's what you got to watch if you're State now playing a team like that.
Florida demolished Oklahoma, who couldn't get that road win that would have locked them into the tournament, 85-63. Here's Todd Golden, who was really into this game last night. He was waving to the whatever the Gator people are called there, their student body. I forget what they have, a cool name.
The Swamp.
No, that's from football.
The Chompers?
Gator Bites?
No, they do have a name, but I cannot remember what the name is.
Yeah, Gator Alley, something like that. But Golden was really encouraging the students there last night who were on fire watching Florida, now number 2 in the country, demolish Oklahoma. Here's Todd.
We flushed that Tennessee game. That was a tough game. Obviously, Walt had that ankle injury in the first half, and we just could never get in a rhythm. And credit Tennessee. I thought they did a really good job of guarding and bothering us that day. But we didn't lose any confidence after that game. We weren't shook. It allowed us to kind of recalibrate and focus on defending, rebounding, taking care of the ball. The things that we know equate to winning. But it really was just, in this league, it's the best league in college basketball in like 20 years. Like you're going to run into some tough opponents. Tennessee on their home floor is a tough game. And, we didn't play very well that day, but we've obviously played really well since then.
Yeah, they are looking good right now. They did it without Alex Condon last night. We'll see what Florida does down the stretch. LSU beat South Carolina, who is now 0-13 on the year.
That was their shot, by the way. And really, they were at an arm's length all night. I mean, they just weren't really in that game. I don't know if they won a game.
Reports in Baton Rouge is LSU will keep Matt McMahon as the head coach, and they're committed to getting him more NIL money going into the offseason.
Rowdy Reptiles, by the way, according to Forrester.
The Rowdy Reptiles. Thank you, Forrester. And Tyler.
Doing the work.
And anyone else in the chat room over there, we appreciate you. Before we go to break, though, nationally last night, it was rock chalk, rock bottom. I watched this game, at least the first half of it, and then it was a joy watching Bill Self get beat. I don't know why I cheer against him. I don't know why I do, but I do. And
is it the toupee?
I don't know what it is.
You don't like Bill Self?
I don't dislike Bill Self.
I'm indifferent to Bill Self.
But I don't think I like Kansas, probably because I didn't grow up in a blue blood basketball state, and they are a blue blood.
What I don't get, though, is how bad this Kansas team is. Because, Hunter Dickinson goes 14-16. He's $1 million player. You've got, Zeke Mayo. You've got a guy like Rylan Griffin coming off the bench with quality minutes.
Andy asked this question earlier in the chat room, and it's something I've been thinking every time I watch Kansas play. Do you think Rylan Griffin regrets this decision? I mean, he could be on what is the second best team in America right now.
But how many minutes would he be getting right now?
Well, how many? He's not starting all the time at Kansas.
No, he's not starting.
I'm going to blow your mind. I think the kids that are at Michigan and the kid that's at Kansas were asked to leave to make room for this roster.
They could have been. And you're right. And look, whatever you consider the trade for Rylan, I mean, it looks like Labaron Philon for Rylan Griffin looks like the trade, right? Because one was at Kansas and one was at Alabama, and they're in opposite places now.
Right.
That's a heck of a trade. I will take Labaron Philon every single day, and Alabama's the second best team in America, and Kansas is sucking wind.
Yeah. But for this Kansas team, tied for the biggest loss in Bill Self's tenure. They lost in 2021 to USC in the NCAA tournament by this amount. They were down 38 in the second half. That just doesn't make any sense that Kansas could ever be down 38 in a second half to BYU.
Not just the largest defeat, which is why I wanted to bring this up here. Not just the largest defeat in Bill Self's time there since the USC game, second largest ever. But remember where Kansas was in the AP poll to start the year?
Number 1?
They were number 1 in the country. Yeah. Alabama was number 2, by the way. Kansas was number 1 in the country. preseason. They became the first preseason number one to ever, that's the largest deficit of defeat by a preseason number one team in the history of the Associated Press poll. Preseason number one.
I can buy that.
The record is now Kansas, a 34-point defeat. And by the way, that's the largest student section in a basketball arena I have ever seen at BYU. It seemed like the whole arena were students, but it wasn't. It was probably only, it seemed like a third of the arena.
That's a big student body, though. I don't know what their undergrad is, but that's a large undergrad, I think. It
was it was rocking from the get-go, and it's one of the biggest student sections. Like, I don't know how many Auburn has at Neville down the sidelines there. I know Alabama has about 2,400 seats for students. I mean, that was into the thousands for BYU last night. Great atmosphere and a historic loss for Kansas. When we come back, college football. USA Today has 6 coaches on the verge of winning their first national championship, they say. We'll do that in our McCurry Spotlight. As we had to break here, though, another big night of basketball that includes Vandy and Kentucky, Arkansas and Auburn, Bama and Missouri, Gonzaga and Washington State, late night out on the West Coast. You get all that, lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com, brought to you by Hemphill.
Yeah, 13 plays up and available. Your free play last night. You get a free play every day. Was Mississippi State. Easy winner right there. Jump on board, win with us. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. They are on standby. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train, or hemphillservices.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money. If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Okay, you ready for, I didn't do it during football season, right? I didn't do, we're a quarter of the way through football season.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't do it all football season.
I think you probably
No, I
did
think
it.
we complimented you that you
Not
did.
one time.
Not one time.
I don't remember him doing it. I'll have to say that.
Not one time. It's almost like I never, when we were doing this month's weird holidays, I never say anything to Brown about how excited we get about it.
That's coming again in March.
But I saw this today from Yahoo. It was in my newsletter from Yahoo, and I was like, okay, I got to bring this up because it's mind-boggling to me. And Tyler, this is over your head because when I was your age, it seemed like it took forever from football season to football season. We are 13% of the way done with 2025 already.
That has flown by.
Already 13% done with 2025.
For some reason, Valentine's Day has always been a turning point for me. Now, I told you guys that normally when we get past Valentine's, we're done with the long-term bad weather.
Yeah, I was going to say weather-wise.
It has basically sucked every day since then, so I apologize. But Valentine's Day just feels like a turning point for me because I don't really care for January. It's just a dark, bleak month. The weather sucks. I know we got the NFL playoffs, but college football's over. Although it went deeper this year.
Really.
Yeah. Now the way you were looking, you sort of looked up and you were thinking, LT. I think you were about to say it's felt like about 13% of the years.
Yeah, maybe. Last week was a really long week. Normally these weeks go by pretty quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, that I feel like once I get past Valentine's Day, you're almost a spring.
See, my turning point is Selection Sunday. For whatever
That's
reason,
when
it seems like there's spring weather on that day.
Yeah.
There's like St. Patrick's
I
things
agree.
going around.
Time change for me, which
Time
is
change? When is
March
that?
9th, I think.
Okay, so we're close to that.
Day after the last
Yeah,
Alabama
somebody,
Auburn game.
I saw something this morning that, the sun will be not setting till 7 o'clock in X amount of days, which was exciting.
I think is March 9th, if I am guessing correctly. Anyway, that's I wanted to let everybody know we're 13% through another year.
No, that's good because that gets us closer to college football. So the more of that countdown you can give us.
Well, I do count down all the time to that.
Where are we?
We're 185 days from week 0 of college football. Show 892 being brought to you by our friends at Odie's. Give me another calendar.
Hey, by the way, so that's only double down on Doug Layton's old 90 days.
That's right. We're getting close. I'll remember. I remember.
That's pretty crazy when you think about it. Odie's Team Trivia will be there tonight. 2 games going on that you'll want to watch. You can come out to Odie's to watch a little Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, Auburn. It will be on all of the TVs. We'll get started a little after 8 o'clock. Enjoy some of that great food from Rodney Davis. I'm getting there early. I don't know if Brown's going to go with me. Got a little meeting beforehand.
I will not be early. Oh, I got to tell you what I got tonight when you finish this. Go ahead.
Mr. Miyagi stuff?
No,
Okay.
that was last night. Last 2 nights for Taekwondo.
Yeah, but stop in and join us. Odie's Tavern. It's a Birmingham institution. Ice cold beer buckets. Come in and see Will Haver, all of us tonight. 2 locations. The one we'll be at tonight, the original and Crestline, newest location in Edgewood.
Oh, my bad. That's 100% on me. We got first soccer practice tonight. Have you looked at the temperature for tonight?
Yeah, the temperature, what time?
It's going to be about 5:30, Jim.
5:30 is going to be 40 degrees at 5:30.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be sitting outside. And Tyler, you had that so tight.
Do they play soccer in the rain?
The rain's going to stop, unfortunately, Lance. I was pulling for that. I was like, okay, maybe we'll get rain down. No, rain's going to stop just in time for soccer practice.
And this is the first one?
This is practice number 1.
Hey, don't you love he's pulling against practice number 1?
Well, it's going to be awful out there, but I'm happy for my daughter.
Are you going to be able to chip?
No, this is not at Dunway's church.
Oh.
This is Boosa. It's that field that the Legion plays on, that practices on down there. They take that way more serious. I can't chip there.
Down at 280.
Sorry, Tyler, hit it. My bad.
The College Football Spotlight.
Presented each day by McCurry. McCurry Van and Car Rental. They got all the trucks, SUVs, passenger vans that you need. They make it easy to rent. They get you in and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today. 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Take your dry erase board. I think it's a TikTok thing. Maybe it's an Instagram story thing where it's 10.
TikTok update, please.
Yeah, we're on TikTok today, Jim.
Yeah.
Some said it can never be done.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up because you said let's see what it looks like
great.
today, and then we'll brag
great.
about it tomorrow.
Looks great.
Okay, we'll brag about it real quick.
Okay. We're on TikTok. Show's on TikTok, man.
We're on TikTok today.
Yes,
yeah.
Welcome. We're on TikTok. So tell a kid.
Some said it couldn't be done.
Some said it can never be done. Tyler did it, though. Congrats, Tyler and Scott. And
I've done the
Little
impossible.
T. You've done the impossible.
Yeah, if I played the other side, why are we just getting on TikTok today?
Well, somebody said it couldn't be done.
That's right. Yes.
I heard that this
You know
morning.
who didn't listen? Tyler didn't listen.
Somebody said it couldn't be done.
Yeah.
I mean, next thing you know, we'll be on freaking Mars. Who knows? So it's either TikTok craze, and it's been a couple of years, but it would be 10, and you and the significant other would be sitting there, and it'd be like, rank the 10 creepiest pickup lines or 10 best burgers or whatever. So I need you to label 1 through 6, and I'm going to give you the USA Today 6 college football coaches with the best chance of winning their first national title. And when I read out their name, I want you have to rank them in real time, no adjusting, and that's the way the craze is.
Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do if Kiffin, Lanning, and Franklin are all on this, because how can I put 3 at 6?
No. See, that's when I read them out, you have to choose.
Okay.
Not knowing
I got
not
you.
knowing who else is left.
All right.
Right?
I got you.
Right?
It's gonna be fun.
And see, that's what's crazy about this craze. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, did you fall from heaven? Because blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna go on and tell you
You're
that-
like, oh, that's creepy. I'm gonna put that at
As
10.
bad as
And
James
then-
Franklin
and then
is,
there's something creepier. You're like, I gotta put that at
Lane
9.
Kiffin will never win a national championship. So
Okay.
if he's on this list, he is number 6
All
for
right,
me.
so
I'm
Lance
just
is
gonna
going
go
to
say
write
that.
those on the back of his board. All right, go.
Okay, I hear you, Lance. All right. First one I'll throw at you is Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman. Where do you put Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman on the next one to win his national championship? Marcus Freeman.
Okay. I got it.
Okay.
LT,
good.
you locked
Yep,
in?
Yep.
All right. Brown, show me yours.
Oh, we're going to do it in
Yeah,
real time
yeah,
like
yeah.
that? Okay. I got him third.
You got him third.
Lance?
LT?
Got him
I
third.
got him third.
Oh, I put him
Brown?
fourth.
All right. You're
And
fourth. All right.
and by the
so-
way, I'm seeing the list. Typical Jim.
Was he fourth on the
what
list?
did he
No,
do?
I'm seeing the list. I'm seeing the list for the first time myself. Next,
Okay.
LSU's Brian Kelly. Where do you put Brian Kelly on your list? Not knowing who the others are.
You good? I got him fourth. I'll put him behind Marcus Freeman. Should be in front
I
of
have
him.
got him first.
Whoa.
I think much like Ryan Day, he has been shit upon, and I think Brian Kelly is still a hell of a coach. He's not a likable guy.
Nope.
He's with a great program. We've already seen Les Miles and both Ed Orgeron win them there. I think Brian Kelly will win one in the next 2 years.
I put him third.
I've got him 4, so you and I have just flipped these two. Yeah.
Basically, I'm judging the slam dunk contest, wanting to leave room for a spectacular jump over a Kia or something.
I'll tell you that little dude can jump.
Oh, Matt McClung?
Oh, yeah.
Is he ever on an NBA roster?
No. I think he's gotten a couple of 12-day contracts or 10-day contracts, but he
did he play at Texas Tech?
He did, and he
he really did. That's where he played.
I thought it was Texas Tech. It was a Texas school, and he's always on the playing the squadron.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. He plays down at the BJCC some.
So he's a G League guy.
Oh, yeah. He's a G League. I don't think he's ever on an NBA roster. They just know he's a guy that can dunk out of this world. And they don't really have a lot of guys lined up to be in the dunk contest anymore.
Just to confirm, Dunaway, because I do want to see where he played college. It was Texas Tech. Yep.
Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yeah, Georgetown to Texas Tech.
Little transfer. Georgetown to Texas Tech.
The most surprising part of that was Georgetown.
You remember back in the John Thompson, they would have one white guy on the bench every year, and he sat away from John Thompson and never played.
And would come in when they were up 30 at the end.
Yeah, he was the mop-up guy.
Next up, this is USA Today's top 6 coaches, and then we're ranking them TikTok craze style. Is James Franklin of Penn State? Not knowing who the others are.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough, but I'm not going to leave any room. I'm going to go ahead and put him 6th. James Franklin does not win big games, and he still can't get past that, and you saw it in the Notre Dame game. He just can't win big games. I mean, they call him jokingly Big Game James for a reason.
I can't believe I've got him at 4th. Wow. But I've got a feeling we've got a couple of names on here that I've got to save this one for Lane Kiffin.
Well, I mean, I'm just banking that Kiffin's not going to be on there.
I went James Franklin.
James Franklin did win.
Triple box. Look at
Forrester.
He did win 2 playoff games this year. Now, look who they were against, and take that with a grain of salt. But
next guy on the list. Where'd Brown go?
I didn't get a marker. My marker's dying.
Kalen DeBoer, Alabama makes the list.
My marker.
Ooh, I have painted myself into a hole.
I feel good about I feel good about this right now. Can't wait to see the final 2 are.
God, I got too much Alabama in me.
RDT, Jim. RMFT. I'm going to put him 2nd. I think, and here's my thinking here. Number 1, he's at Alabama, which gives you a leg up in winning national championships. I think the remainder of this list is going to be Dan Lanning, who I'll probably put 1st, and Lane Kiffin, who I'll put 5th. So I'm going to put DeBoer 2nd. Would not have any trouble if you tell me you got him number 1. But I got him number 2.
Yeah, I'm going number 2, Kalen DeBoer. And this would have been, I could flip-flop either. Both of these guys will win national championships. I feel really good about that.
I went number 2, Kalen DeBoer. But you see, I started.
You're going to put him 5th.
I was going to go 5th, not knowing who was left, but I was like, I can't do it. I got to put KD up at number 2.
Brown painted the picture. I mean, he does have a leg up coaching at Alabama. I do think this is a critical year, and I think it will look a lot different. Not only is it year 2, but also Ryan Grubb coming back into the fray, and the fact that I think they're going to have more of a Kalen DeBoer quarterback this year.
Next on the list is Steve Sarkisian, Texas, who ironically has not won one.
Okay, this is going to be really hard.
I don't know if that's ironic or not.
I don't know what to do here.
Yeah,
I do not want to put him number 1, but I can't leave number 1 open in case that last one is Lane Kiffin. So I'm going to have to put him number 1.
I put him number 1.
See, here's going to be my fear is I'm going to gamble.
This is how you get into that situation.
I still don't feel bad about it. I would flip Franklin and Sark. That's the only thing that I regret right now, but not by much.
Yeah,
I'm going to gamble.
Not by much. You feel really good on your list right now.
Where'd you put him? Where'd you put Sark?
Sark would be the one that I question just because, much like Alabama, Texas is such a great program.
Yeah, I'm going to put him 5th, gambling that you're about to say Dan Lanning and not Lane Kiffin.
Ooh,
I would put Lanning over Sark to win a national championship. Now, look, Lanning's got his issues.
Dan Lanning is the other guy on the list.
That's what I was hoping for.
I can put him at 6. You know what? I've never seen Oregon win a national championship. I think in his prime, Chip Kelly was a much better coach, so I feel good about Lanning 6.
What if he does it?
I feel good about Lanning 5.
What if he does it at Georgia?
Yeah, well, that's my point. If
different.
he does it, he'll do it from somewhere in the
Well, and that's
SEC.
why Marcus Freeman, if you would have told me Marcus Freeman's got another job in 2 years, I might have had Freeman higher.
I like my list. I don't dislike yours. I like yours almost as much as I like mine. Of course, I've always liked Sark more than.
Okay, of these 6 guys, this is digit to dollars. You've got to, I mean, how many will win national championships?
Two at the most.
I think Sark will because he's at Texas.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but Texas has 4 all time.
I only feel great about saying Kelly and DeBoer. Now, Freeman is so young. So's Lanning.
I think DeBoer will.
Yeah, I think DeBoer and Kelly will. Y'all do not think Brian Kelly will win one, do you?
I do not.
If this was 13% through the year 2026, I'd let you know because I want to see what happens this year. Because if he craps the bed this year, he is out.
He's more likely to get fired than win a national championship.
He's more likely to win the national championship this year.
What would take
or then get fired if he doesn't win it this year?
I don't think 8-4 gets him fired. Oof. And I don't think he can lose 4 games, much like DeBoer. I mean, it is a disaster if either one of those guys goes 8-4. It's kind of a disaster if they go 9-3.
I don't disagree with you. But you look at Kelly, I mean, this year, I don't even know, so 1 year he's got the best rookie quarterback in the NFL who was a Heisman Trophy winner, and he can't do anything with him.
Well, look,
in terms of winning a national championship.
Yeah,
they weren't even close.
He needed to unplug and just be like, hey, I'm going to concentrate on defense because the offense had no problems playing with everyone.
And then this year, what turns out to be, with respect to what Alabama normally is, a middle-of-the-road Alabama team, runs you out of your stadium. I mean, you guys would give me that, right? With respect to what Alabama has become, that was a mid-tier Alabama team. And you get run out of your own stadium by them. I mean, I just don't know how close. I know everybody talks transfer portal and all that. I don't know how close he is.
Well, how about this? You've got to have one of these coaches for 1 year to coach your team.
It's hard not to say Marcus Freeman, having just seen him get a team to the national championship. I hope I don't play a MAC team that I'm a 20-point favorite over.
I still think I might go.
That's the one thing.
I would have gone to DeBoer.
I want him in November and December.
Is Northern Illinois on my schedule?
I would have gone to DeBoer before this year. It's just a bad look this year. I don't know why.
No, I understand.
Maybe it was just because it was so odd.
Yeah, it was just, yeah.
I mean who was Sark's losses
It was
to?
Jerry Rice in a Seahawks uniform.
Sark lost to all the good teams he played.
Yep. But it was Georgia twice and
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah,
no, wait a minute. Notre Dame beat Georgia. Who beat Texas in the playoffs?
Should have been Arizona State.
It was Ohio State.
Yeah, it was Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah.
So
So all
lost
the
to
good teams
Georgia
he played.
twice and Ohio State.
I mean, the only good win he had was Arizona State. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that was a nail biter.
And Clemson, I guess you would say Clemson was a good
I
win.
think some people say that we do overstate this, but I mean, Sark didn't have a good win this year.
Not in the regular season.
An
he did not.
win. An A.
I mean,
win.
what would Clemson be? A B win?
I mean, it looked a lot better because they won the ACC championship.
Yeah, Arizona State was a B win.
Josh Pate, top of the hour. Follow-up question to this, but that's the McCurry Spotlight, brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
Yeah, you can find them with the hard-to-find rentals throughout the North Alabama area. McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I want to play. Can we play this with Pate?
Yeah, I like.
Sure. And our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. And then I'll follow up with this question right here.
Great place to just zone out. Look, you've got weekend plans. Maybe you're going to play golf. Is golf on the table this weekend or no?
That's not for me. Next Tuesday for me.
Yeah, I think we're into next week before we play
next
golf.
Tuesday, if you're planning on playing golf, send the wife or girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa. Hey, look, you want to watch hoops all day Saturday or Sunday? Send her to the Woodhouse Day Spa. She's going to absolutely love it. You can buy her one of these gift cards online 24/7 at birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let her choose from that menu of 70 great options, including waxing, skincare, nail services, body treatments, massages. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, you can stop in, see Stuart and the great staff, tell them the next round sent you, or just order online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
All right. Josh Pate at the top of the hour. My follow-up question is, that's USA Today 6 to win their first. Who's missing from that list? Is there anybody that jumps out?
Lincoln Riley, I guess Lane Kiffin. I mean, with
Lincoln,
the regard people have. Like if
Lane Kiffin.
I don't know. I would have Lincoln in front of James Franklin, but that's as high as I would have him in hindsight. The guy just does not.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah.
I would have him fourth. I would have him in front of Franklin, Sark, and Lanning. But it's been a weird look, much like Brian Kelly has. Who else on that list?
That's missing off this list.
Not Kenny Dillingham. I was kind of joking with that. But,
yeah. I guess some people that wear orange think Heupel maybe.
It's worth a discussion. He's been in a college football playoff.
Freeze is probably a long way away. There'll be a lot of hype for Auburn this offseason again.
Yeah.
But he's a long way away from being on this list.
And
Lincoln and Lane probably the highest profile guys not mentioned on this list.
Probably so.
Yeah, I'm thinking who else? I mean, Sharon Moore.
No.
You're not going to put him. I mean, you got to do something to be on this list, right?
I mean, Cristobal will maybe get some buzz going into the year with Beck.
I think it's fair that Cristobal would be on the, not necessarily on the list, but we would mention him, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's not anybody else.
Yeah.
There's really not.
Those are some pretty big name coaches, though, that are still looking for that first one there, and that's from our friends at USA Today. By the way, Pro Football Focus made a little point yesterday. They're ranking the top 10 at each position using their metrics and everything, and there's only one school using the Pro Football metric that has 2 top 10 receivers on the roster for next year. Does anybody know which school it is?
I have seen the graphics, so I will recuse myself.
Do they have to be draft eligible?
I don't
think so.
Well, then I would say that it's Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate.
That's who I would have said.
That's who I would have guessed.
Just believing the Taylor tweet, it is the Auburn Tigers with the only wide receiver duo in the top 10 wide receivers for 2025. So Jeremiah and Tate are together, right, at Ohio State? Interesting. What did you think of that, Brownie?
Well, first of all, I really like Singleton at Georgia Tech. And when he was in the portal, I didn't know if Auburn was a destination or not. I said then, this guy he's a game changer for some schools if they could get Eric Singleton. And I really liked him. Cam Coleman had a bit of an uneven start for the Auburn Tigers, and he had some drop issues, Coleman did, for Auburn. And once he overcame that, I was just going to look at I was going to go game log for you here and look at his last few games. Yeah. So against La Monroe, 8 catches, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Against Texas A&M, 7 catches, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. And at Alabama, in the loss, 7 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. He played so much better at the end of the year. He peaked at the end of the year. It's like it clicked for him finally.
Well, and let's not forget, he did not have good quarterback play.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if Jackson Arnold is any better at throwing the ball than Peyton Thorne.
Singleton had much better quarterback play with Haynes King.
Yeah.
Now, I do think both are going to have the benefit of Jackson Arnold this year.
Absolutely.
And Jackson Arnold's finally going to have NFL-like receivers.
That's true. It is a marriage, right?
Yeah. I just wonder, how good is this Auburn offensive line going to be? That's going to be one of the major question marks.
Better than the one in Oklahoma last year. I bet that. A-plus brings you that part of the show right here. Josh Pate coming up on the other side. Brandy, tell us about A-plus.
A-plusbathandkitchen.com. That is the website to go to, A-plusbathandkitchen.com. That's where you'll find my guy Brad Bell. When it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown home, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she picked, and his crews were terrific. I'm glad she picked him. Scott is showing you some before and afters of our bathroom and a couple of other jobs Brad has done, but you can see a ton more at aplusbathandkitchen.com. His specialty, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's what he specializes in, but certainly not all he does. See more at aplusbathandkitchen.com. You ready for that redo? Go to Brad Bell, aplusbathandkitchen.com. The future of college football and the college football playoff with Josh Pate next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're about to talk to Josh Pate. I don't know if you guys want to do the.
We do.
I don't know if it's the TikTok, Instagram challenge, whatever it was.
I think he can handle it.
I can't remember all the ones I've seen people do, like creepy bar pickup lines, favorite beach destination. They do all sorts of rankings there, but I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to do it. I'll let one of you guys walk through it.
Here's what I do. Do you have the names? Here's what I'll do. Josh Pate is
I've
with
got
us.
the names. I've got the names.
Josh Pate College Football Show, Josh Pate CFB, is where you watch it. Same place you watch our shows. What is up, Pate? How are you? We're about to play a game with you.
Good. I've got nothing but time. I'm shut in Nashville. There's snow and ice everywhere. So
Is there
all
really?
the challenges, I welcome them.
Okay.
So snow and ice in the Music City. How about that?
So you're with us until noon?
At least.
Is this the eccentric Josh Pate? You typically have just white on, and we're kind of a gray tone today. So stepping out there a little bit.
And sleeves. The Quick Trip sent me a bunch of free stuff, Brown. I know they didn't pay to be on the show. That's why I'm ducking down a little bit. But
No, it's all
I got to
good.
wear what they send me.
It's all good.
Yeah, you're fine. You can flex on Quick Trip.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do, Josh.
Actually, go ahead and lift. Go ahead and sit straight up, because if they get a bump in their social media hits today and their soda sales, we're going to use that as a sales pitch to them.
Honestly, we may just do the segment like this.
That's fine. Fine with me.
Just for the ladies. Absolutely.
Guess who's calling on them at the end of the show? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We did this. Dunaway did a TikTok trend here because our show's on TikTok for the first time ever today, Pate. Live on TikTok. I don't know if even the Josh Pate College Football Show airs on TikTok, does it?
We cannot say that we are.
Okay, well there you go. So there's one aspect where we're better than
But he
Pate. That's the
also
only thing.
says he can't say that he's not.
Oh, that's true.
Now, if you end up on TikTok in the next week or so, make sure you shoot that contact info for Quick Trip over. We'll call it a win-win.
That's a trade. All right, so Dunaway took a TikTok trend, 1 through 6. He gives you a name of a coach that has not won a national championship, and you've got to rate them on the likelihood that they will be the first one to win their first national championship. Does that make sense?
And one is most likely.
One is most likely, but you don't know what's coming next. You got to rank them in real time.
Yeah, you got to rank them in real time.
And there's no prize at the end.
Yeah.
I don't like it whatsoever. I've signed no consent forms, but why not? I don't sign a consent forms for most of the risky business.
I think I know the order Dunaway went in too.
Yeah, I'm going to keep up with the Pates on the dry
Okay, here we go,
Pate.
Pate. We're gonna start James Franklin.
6.
Okay. There is
soft spot in your heart too.
Yes, I think we all did the same thing. Number 6 with James Franklin.
Okay, remember once you slot them, you can't go back.
6 is gone.
I know Jim McElwain's about to get dropped on me somewhere, and I'm going to send an apology to James Franklin.
Yeah. For the record, I don't think I went him first, but maybe I did.
Next on the list is going to be Marcus Freeman.
3.
Okay.
Next on our list is going to be Brian Kelly.
2.
All right.
Shivers.
Next on our list is Kalen DeBoer.
4.
Okay.
What do we have
All right,
left?
so we've
on
got
these two?
1 and 5 left. Who do you hope is still out there that you've left?
I hope Sark's out there. That would be my number 1.
Okay.
Sark is next. Go on and put him in.
All right.
And then your final is Dan Lanning.
Man, 5. Yeah, so that's all I have left.
Yep.
In retrospect, in retrospect, we can do everything better. I would bump Freeman down to 4. I would bump DeBoer to 3 and have Sark, Lanning 1, 2 in either order.
Okay. Franklin stays 6.
I had Sark Lanning 5, 6.
So you would drop BK down? Is that what you were saying, Brian Kelly from 2?
I would drop BK down beneath. I would have Brian Kelly beneath Sark, beneath Lanning, probably beneath DeBoer. So I would have him either 4th or 5th, Freeman, Kelly interchangeable, and then I would have Franklin behind all of those 5.
Yeah.
Wow. Does it make you nervous, though? Because Brian Kelly's won big games. He's won a lot of big games. Kalen DeBoer's won big games. Sark hasn't won any big games. Dan Lanning has not won any big games.
It doesn't make me nervous, but I also acknowledge the fact. I think, though, the way those are going to go is I think there's going to be a year where they just knock all that down at once. I'm not saying there's a parallel to Ed Orgeron with these guys. I think there's a lot more staying power with all of them. But
Ryan Davis kind of did it in the postseason, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But Orgeron's the more extreme example of there was a bunch of stuff you would have said an Ed Orgeron team couldn't do, and then it all got like blowtorched in 1 year. Ryan Day had that. I think Kirby had a little stretch where people kept saying, well, he's never going to beat Nick Saban. He's never going to win the big one. Well, he beat Saban in the big one, and then no one said that anymore.
You know, the difference, and Josh Pate is with us, Josh Pate CFB on social media, the Josh Pate College Football Show on YouTube, not on TikTok. The difference in, like, Ryan Day or a lot of these guys in Ed Orgeron is even after Orgeron did it, I never believed he could do it again, right? I mean, you just accepted the fact he had a generational football team of talent. And there was never any fear among any SEC fan of Ed Orgeron getting it cooking at LSU.
Yeah. So here's what I would follow up with as the modern example. Do you think that anyone feels that way about Marcus Freeman? I think there's a sizable chunk of the college football public that just saw Notre Dame make it to a national title game, and they think whatever they think about Notre Dame's capability in the modern age, they think whatever they think about Freeman. I think a lot of them look and say, Notre Dame, boy, you had a favorable track. You happened to stumble your way into the title game. You guys will never get there again. And I mentioned that because I think in previous years I would have felt that way. If Notre Dame got that close, I would have thought, yeah, you should have grabbed the belt while you could because this is Notre Dame. This is modern day college football. you guys can't go head to head with the big boys. For some reason, I've softened on that stance. So I actually don't feel that way. That's why I put Freeman initially as high as I did in our rankings there.
I think the difference there, Pate, is that I think a lot of people felt like Ed Orgeron, like they had let the mascot coach the team for a season. Like it was just kind of like a gimmick to sell tickets. The mascot coached the team. It's like a bad movie, and he won a national championship. I think people trust Marcus Freeman. It's just different. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not certain he can do it at Notre Dame, but that's more job-related than coach-related for me anyway.
And the part about the job, what I'm starting to soften on is I'm not sure for all those years that we accurately thought the sport had moved away from Notre Dame being able to do anything of significance. I think with all these changes that have happened in the sport, in a strange way, it's come back towards Notre Dame because they haven't had to give up anything they wanted to in terms of independence, but also because you can't stack depth on the Southern rosters the way that you had been able to do. I think the whole aggregate of that is the environment's a lot more favorable if Notre Dame takes care of its own business to have a team any given year with the right head coach, which I think most of us, to all of us, agree they have, to be a player, not just a player to make the playoff, but a player to actually do something. The age-old question with them has been and will continue to be, could they be dynamic enough at quarterback once they get in the thing to make a run, which is terminology we use in college football now.
I know your brain's 24/7 college football, so you've probably already thought about this. And for the record, I believe it's going to be hard to see this coming. But next year's Arizona State or Indiana, like I think every year we're going to have one of those type teams. I just don't know if we're going to be able to see that type team coming. Have you already thought about this for 2025?
Yeah, Texas Tech would be one that I would look at. Anyone from the Big 12. I don't think – funny thing about that, Lance, is I don't think you'll ever get that kind of team from the Big 10 because there's too much high-level quality. There's too much high-level quality in the SEC.
Yeah, but you got it with Indiana.
You did, but I didn't. That's not a conference champ. I'm saying a team that comes out of nowhere to win their conference title because Arizona State did that. I don't think that's possible to be done in the Big 10. Now, you could have, like next year in the Big 10, I think Illinois could be what Indiana was this past year. And then you get Brett Bielema in playoff press conference situations, and that would be a great thing for America. But I think you have to look at the Big 12. That's why I was doing a radio hit out in one of the Big 12 markets earlier this week, and they were saying, or they were asking, like, what should the goal be if you're Joey McGuire or if you're the head coach at Oklahoma State or TCU or whatnot? And I said, well, if I was out there, my goal would solely be focused on winning the conference because that is achievable. It's attainable. I'm competing against equally resourced programs to try and grab that crown. I would look at it as Georgia's playing a little different game than me right now. Ohio State's playing a little different game. But Colorado and Iowa State and Kansas, they're playing the same game. It's a wildly entertaining conference. I don't think it will ever produce a legitimate national championship contender, but I possess the capability to watch the Big 12 solely for what the Big 12 is going to provide me.
My high school baseball coach was my math teacher my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year, and we would leave math class to go to the batting cage to get swings in. So I am horrible at math. I say that up front. But last year, the SEC had 3 of 12 teams in the playoffs, and they had 3 teams right outside knocking on the door for a total of 6 contending for the 12-team playoffs. Now everyone is bitching and moaning that the SEC and the Big Ten want 4 guaranteed spots and a 14 or 16 playoff spots. That's not adding up to me. I don't know why everybody's so upset about, not everybody, but the people who are upset about this. Why are they upset about the SEC and the Big Ten wanting to guarantee 4 spots there? That's what they're going to get just in a normal year. I don't understand the outrage.
Or more. What you just said, the caveat there is that's what they would have gotten or more or worse, depending on your perspective. I agree with you. I think people are still married to the idea that we have at least 4 roughly equal power conferences, and we do not. I mean, it's so glaringly obvious today. And so, number one, there is no world where you expand and the SEC and the Big Ten don't get what they want. But even if that world existed, to play devil's advocate or for argument's sake here, just understand we're talking about, I think I may be frozen. Was I frozen or am I back?
No, you're perfectly
back.
fine.
You're
yeah.
back.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
So I never liked the concept of auto bids of any kind, but I never wanted to expand the playoff. But we're here. So at 12, if looking in the distance, all we have to go to is 14 or 16, let's just say we're going to 14. Dunaway, I think it's a favor to the rest of the country. If you limit the SEC and the Big Ten's guaranteed spots to 4, because there is a world, if that committee or whatever the rankings mechanism is that we use, if that thing's properly calibrated, there could be a world where you've got 8 and 4s that are in above 10 and 2s from power conference versus other conference. And so it's probably doing you a favor. The second thing, and this is where I get selfish a little bit, is there's, from this point moving forward, knowing we can't go back in time, there's only one way to me to maintain maximum focus and value on the conference races. And that is letting people know ahead of time how many spots their conferences have in the tournament so that everyone's not focused on rankings and everyone's not focused on who's on the bubble and are we going to get this team in? How many teams are we going to get in? Instead, if I'm in the SEC and I know my 1 and my 2 are in, and my 3 is going to play 6, and my 4 is going to play 5 and play in games on what used to be conference title Saturday, well, then all I'm focused on all year is the conference standings, conference race. Same thing in the Big Ten. And those are the 2 teams that are playing by several miles now, the highest level of competitive football across the board. So out of the available options, I'll put it that way, I prefer that. And if this model gives the Big 12 multiple guaranteed spots and the ACC multiple guaranteed spots, I don't know what better deal they think is going to be out there for them.
That's my point. But for people like Pat Forty and Stuart Mandel, who are calling the SEC and the Big Ten greedy, they are giving the Big 12 and the ACC a lifeline, guaranteed 2 spots, not 1, guaranteed 2 spots. That's not greedy. I don't think they have to do that. I don't understand the outrage.
I think the outrage is there were a lot of people who advocated for a bunch of change that's not providing them the results that they wanted because it's not Xbox, it's real life, it's not utopian, it's not idealistic, it's the real world, it's realistic. So now that you've advocated for things, instead of accepting the obvious consequence of what you advocated for, you want to continue to wish cast. And that's not the way this works. But if you just have to write for a living or you just have to talk for a living, you don't actually have to make the decisions. You don't actually have to pull the levers. You just get to do that in an echo chamber. It's kind of a good gig.
Josh Pate is with us. Josh Pate, CFB. He's the host of the Josh Pate College Football Show. You can get that on YouTube. The link is right there on his social media at Josh Pate, CFB. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You mentioned the scenario that we've loved on this show, that championship Saturday. Do you think there's traction for that? So for those that don't know, 1 and 2 play for the top seed, basically. They play for the SEC championship. Meanwhile, you've got 4-5 playing together, 3-6 playing one another, all on championship Saturday. The top 4 teams out of those games, the 4 winners, well, the 1s and 2s and the other 2 winners go. Do you think there's traction for that?
Yeah, I think we're more likely than not to get there.
Wow.
And the way I would do it is to maximize the value and importance of the conference title race. To maximize the importance of the conference championship, I actually wouldn't even play a conference championship game. I would let my league play out any given year, and I would get to the finish line, and I would take number 1, give them the conference title, same way we do in basketball. You just won the regular season league title. We would just call it the SEC title, and I'd send them on. You don't even have to play in a conference title game. You don't have to play in any more games. You're in, go take number 1 over there. And then number 2 gets to go take our second seat, the runner-up. It maximizes the reward on conference standings. And then I would have 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5 on that first Saturday in December. I double the inventory I'm offering my media partner. It doesn't say SEC championship game on the marquee anymore, but it says SEC play-in or whatever you want to call it. So that's the way I wouldn't even have a 1 versus 2.
Wow. No, I would.
Have 1 and 2 are in, and I have 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5.
I would, because now I'm tripling the inventory. Because
I would too, but there's this other thing, Dunaway. I know it's not popular to talk about this, but we do still have to have football players to play the games. They are still 18 to 22 years old. Like we are still putting a pretty hefty workload on guys. I would like to see an added reward baked in for the teams that finish 1-2. And that reward to me would be you're in without having to play the game. Now, look, if you were to sell me that these conference championships are going to maintain like maximum significance, I'm in the same business you guys are. So I'm all for more inventory of that scale. But if I were trying to stack the thing with integrity of competition at the forefront, given the climate today, I wouldn't have a 1-2. I'd send them on. I have 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5.
Yeah, wait until we have paired up where Alabama has 3 FBS schools that are their practice squads that they can pull from late in the year if there's injuries.
The call up, the December call up.
Yeah, that'll be when really the people will be outraged and we'll have some chaos.
I think this past year there would have been chaos from a lot of people who were happy with the outcome if we changed nothing more than Alabama or Georgia went on the run Ohio State did. Or if we changed nothing more than Tennessee got the draw Penn State got. See, I think a lot of people are secretly outraged with the way it was last year. They just didn't realize it because it wasn't an SEC team that gamed the system. It was a Big Ten team. So they were okay with it for the time being. A lot of people who think they like the current model don't even like the current model. It's just that they're a little bit blinded to it because the SEC didn't leverage it to their advantage in that particular year.
So 5 total seasons between Billy Napier and Hugh Freeze, and only 1 winning season. Napier's 8-5 last year. I know Napier was on the hottest seats, did a great job of pulling himself off of that. But going into this year, who is on a hotter seat? Is it Billy Napier again or Hugh Freeze?
It's a weird question because I don't think Freeze, from my perspective, enters the year there. I think he has the capability to finish the year in worse position than Napier because I think it was pretty overt how Florida ended the season last year, that it felt like it really started to come together systematically to me. Whereas at Auburn, it feels like you're still sort of wandering through the wilderness a little bit. Now you can hear waves, you can hear the seagulls, you think the beach is ahead, so you keep forging forward. They've recruited well, they've portaled well, but you're talking about a turnover-prone team banking on a turnover-prone quarterback being the savior. That's really what it comes down to. Everything else is sort of a moot point if that doesn't work out. And it's a disconcerting situation for Hugh Freeze to be in, I would imagine, to know how much variance there still is in the equation, even entering year 3. With Napier, I don't feel like there's as much variance. The variance for him is in his schedule because they play a nightmare schedule again this year. And like you said, it's a miracle they pulled that nose up this last year, given how they started, given the schedule they had in front of them, but they did it. So I think I'd feel a little better if I were Florida and Napier than if I were Hugh Freeze and Auburn right now.
All right, he is Josh Pate at Josh Pate CFP on social media. You can see the Josh Pate College Football Show on YouTube. It is linked right there from his social media. Very easy to find that YouTube channel. Like it, set your alerts so you know when he's live, and subscribe. Do all the things we ask you to do for us as well. Thank you very much, Pate. Always good talking with you. Stay safe in Snowmageddon.
Thank you, sirs.
All right, buddy. Take care. Josh Pate on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Before you tell us about Johnston RV, Brownie, I want to give a big shout out to Ray, who lives here in town. He's the dad and listens to our show every day when he can. Jay Pear, who listens and lives out in Dallas, it's his dad. And Ray recently had an accident where he fell off a retaining wall. He's in the hospital today. It's the first day this week he's been able to listen to our show. Wasn't able to do it on Monday. Broke every rib in his body, broke his collarbone. Hopes to be up and back out of the hospital by the weekend. But today's the first day that he's been able to listen to the show, and his son, Jay Pear, wanted me to send him a shout-out. So shout-out to Ray. We hope you're feeling better. He says that his dad was really upset that he missed Monday's show. He's a big Alabama fan, wanted to hear our reaction to the Auburn win over Alabama. And Jay Pear said, Dad, you must have hit your head because you know it's just going to be nothing but Auburn propaganda on Monday. Right. You don't want to listen to the show anyway.
He really didn't want to hear it. Auburn dominated that game.
It's a bunch of Auburn fans talking about Auburn is all this show is.
So Ray, thank you to so many of you that listen to the show every day. We appreciate you so much. And we know life comes at you fast and With a lot of you go through some things, but Ray, we know you'll get better. Thank you for listening in the hospital this morning and watching us in the hospital this morning. And you have an awesome son, awesome daughter-in-law who love you very much. Get better, man. And maybe Alabama can get a win for you tonight. If not, I'll come up and kick you in the ribs, and it'll feel about the same if Missouri beats the Tide tonight.
Johnston RV Center. Go see America in an RV from Johnston RV. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur. That's where you find them. They got payments right now starting as low as $129 a month with approved credit. A great selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and more. They love the United States military the way we do on this show. If you're active duty or retired veteran, we cannot do anything that says thank you enough. But a small show of gratitude is a great discount they give you. See more at johnstonrvcenter.com.
And after that great conversation with Josh Pate, we'll get back to basketball and some more NFL football and 4 downs in the final 90 minutes of the show. But right now, we love to take a look at what's on tonight. It's the Michelson viewing menu, and Tyler promises me he will not start the third straight one of these with not a lot on tonight. So Michelson brings us the viewing menu.
Yeah, always great things going on at Michelson Laser Vision, conveniently located UAB Highlands. Make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I wore the contacts for a decade. Wasted money each and every year on the contacts and solutions. Stop that. Make the phone call. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Got a little something for everyone tonight.
All right.
If you go on Amazon Prime, you'll find a new documentary on Tom Green called This is the Tom Green Documentary. And it's about his journey going from wild MTV stunts to being one of the first podcasters to going through cancer, and then deciding that acting just wasn't for him and showbiz wasn't, and he was just going to get a farm and just chill out.
Well, obviously a weird dude, but he did entertain me early on. And, Jackass stole things from Tom Green, and everybody plagiarizes. But he was the first that would roll the speakers in when his parents were sleeping and just rock it out.
Yeah.
And it just some of the funniest, like painting cars, and somebody walks out to their car and it's got, things written on it. He just had a weird sense of humor, but it was an entertaining hour on MTV, I thought.
When he came on the show, it's been so long ago, I can't remember. Wasn't he kind of subdued on the show like we thought he was going to be?
I don't remember Tom being on the show.
Yeah, Tom Green was on the show once.
You're positive?
I'm certain. You might have been out that day.
What was he promoting?
Something. I know that doesn't clear it up.
Was he coming to the Stardome? Did he do stand-up?
I don't remember him coming to the Stardome. Now, look, we've been doing this a long time, so one falls through the cracks. It's not going to surprise me, but I don't remember Tom Green.
Oddly, I think he was. And
was it back to Dunaway and Brown that he was on? Maybe it was at the round table. Maybe it was just me and you.
I mean,
did he have a show that was coming on Fox?
Maybe so.
He disappeared, though, a long time ago. I mean, how long has he been out of the business?
Oh, gosh, I'd say decade plus. I mean, he just kind of makes podcast appearances here and there.
I mean, Road Trip was 20 years ago.
Now that I think about it, I think it was a Dunaway and Brown interview because as I close my eyes, I can envision being in the studio.
Yeah.
We never did a show together in that studio, the old Jock studio.
Was Road Trip on MTV or was it on Fox?
No, Road Trip was an actual movie.
It was a movie, yeah. I remember that, yeah.
And I just remember
Breckenmeyer.
And the snake and the... Yeah.
I just remember him coming on and he was real subdued and you kind of think Tom Green's going to be way up here and he just kind of... Not a bad interview, but not what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got that, and then if you go on AMC tonight at 7 p.m., you'll find The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones.
Terrific.
I think it's a classic.
Oh, yeah.
It really, it was nominated. There was no expectation for that movie. Got nominated for Best Picture. He was nominated for Best Actor. Tommy Lee won Best Supporting Actor. But that is just one of those, it holds up well.
It really does.
Endlessly rewatchable, I think.
Yeah. Just, I mean, everything is perfect about it. I don't know what I would change.
Yeah, I'll never forget, like in our old house, so like for Leighton, 4 houses over, for me, 2 houses over, her up one night, she was like 3, and I had The Fugitive on, and Bethany was like, our daughter doesn't need to be watching Fugitive. She was glued to it, though.
Joe, what's his name?
Pantalona.
Yeah. It plays such a good role in that.
Yeah, he does, but I'm telling you, his best role is Ralphie Cifaretto in The Sopranos.
In The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah, I like him as Ralphie and as the captain in Bad Boys.
Yeah. Yep.
And then if you don't want a documentary or a serious movie, You can go to True TV at 6 p.m. and watch Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell.
I've never seen. Is that the basketball one?
That is the basketball.
I've never seen
Was
that.
he Jackie Moon?
Yes, he's Jackie
So I've
Moon.
got a question coming up on 4 Downs that maybe you could insert Will Ferrell with the Tropics, I think they were.
Yes, the Flint Tropics.
Loosely based on what the ABA teams were having to do.
Did y'all like the movie? I didn't like
get
it.
Merged. There were moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the.
So you're saying it was close to true on what the ABA was having to do?
I mean, the WHA with the Birmingham Bulls had the same thing because you had a declining league that the owners wanted to merge, but then it became evident that only a certain number of the teams were going to merge and some of the franchises were not going to merge, and there was a fight to become one of the relevant ones that.
And if you weren't, you had to find ways to bring people in to watch games, and you didn't have a budget because wasn't it Jackie Moon where the dude made the full? I think it was Jackie Earl Haley was the actor. Didn't he make a full court shot? And Will Ferrell's like, no, just freaking out because they had to pay him the check.
I mean, they were trying to get the attendance to a certain point, so they would be one of the teams that would be taken by the NBA, and that was a little bit of what was going on in the WHA and the ABA back in the day to be one of the, that's where who was it? It was the Pacers, the Nuggets, the Spurs, and the Nets were the 4 ABA teams that got.
St. Louis Spirit never made it.
St. Louis Spirit didn't make it. Kentucky Colonels didn't make it, which I think is who this was based off of, either St. Louis or Kentucky.
Oh, the Kentucky Colonels?
Yeah, loosely.
That's what we found out when we were in Louisville with Alabama back at the KFC Yum Center, is that they built that thinking they could get an NBA expansion franchise. You remember that?
Yep.
That's why they built the whole Yum Center. And
we've always had the
Louisville plays
debate,
it.
could Alabama support NFL, which, I've always said no. I think you guys have said no. Do you think Kentucky could support an NBA franchise?
That's a small market, Louisville.
Yeah, and it's 41 dates. There was a time, I believe, when they could have done it back in the 80s maybe, but where the NBA is now, no.
Yeah, that's why they built the Yum Center. They felt they could get an NBA franchise, and Louisville was like, thank you very much. We'll be your franchise here.
Yeah.
No, you don't get an NBA franchise. You're going to get a college franchise, though.
And I used to wonder which franchise Birmingham had the best chance at supporting if it ever had one. And I don't know which one it would be.
Soccer, I think.
I used to think that, but the Legion has not drawn what people thought it would draw.
I think like soccer, hockey. I
thought it would be soccer because of all the youth soccer stars around here. I thought it would always be packed. I thought easily 5,000 to 10,000 a game for a pro soccer team. It hasn't been the case.
I don't think any would work.
I think NFL will be dead last. In fact, I think it'd be the worst of all of them.
Well, it's just so many dates for the NBA, the NHL, which is an expensive ticket.
Yeah, Major League Baseball's got 80-some dates.
Major League Baseball has a lot. Ironically, I do think it's Major League Baseball that would have the best chance because
it's a place to go hang out, drink beer.
It is, and really the attendance. I mean, you do have a lot of people that survive on 14,000 a night in Pittsburgh and Tampa and Oakland.
My fear with baseball is there's so many Braves fans here that they would just rather go to Atlanta and see their team rather than lock on.
Do you ever give a team up if your market gets a team?
And I had this discussion not long ago. It was actually in the parking lot walking out of church, and I don't even know how we got on it, but I was talking to one of my fellow church members at Shays Mountain Baptist, and he was joking about getting an NFL franchise in Birmingham, and I was like, I wouldn't give the Dolphins up.
No.
Like, I've invested too much. I said, and I can tell you, the minute I gave the Dolphins up for the Birmingham franchise, the Dolphins would win 3 straight Super Bowls. I know how it would happen.
But
yeah, if my kid played for another NFL team, I don't think I could give the Rams up.
But as you see in Los Angeles and with Dallas, a lot of the times those stadiums are full with people coming to see the other team.
Oh yeah.
So can you imagine the dates you'd have when the crowd you'd have when the Braves were in town to play Birmingham?
Oh, it'd be a sellout with Braves fans.
Yeah, that's why I think Nashville would be such a good market for a baseball franchise.
That'll happen.
The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. We'll jump back into 4 Downs and more coming up. Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, one of those great sponsors. We appreciate them so much. The fine folks there at UCA have 16 locations, one near you, 205-930-0920. Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Those great locations can help you stay on top of your health, from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between, including vasectomies. 205-930-0920. Urology Centers, Alabama.com. And with the weather being as bad as it is now, Brownie, the golf is is perfect over the next week.
Always 70 degrees at the Golfus. There's never wind. There is never rain. There is only Birmingham's best golf simulators. All the courses you see on TV that you've loved over the years, you've always wanted to play, you can play them on simulators there at the Golfus. 2 great locations already in Birmingham. Highway 31 in Vestavia, Van Road just off Highway 11 in Trustville, and always online, thegolfus.com. Great place for parties. You can turn the games on and watch them while you play in the bays there. You bring your own food. You bring your own drink. You bring your own clubs. It is just a great night out. Or get out of the office. Have that office meeting or team building exercise at the Golfus. You can book a bay and see more. Thegolfus.com. Thegolfus.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Back with you on the next round. We'll get to 4 downs in just a second. Our New York Butcher Shop
sound of the day comes from Nate Oates. When was Alabama playing their best basketball in y'all's opinion?
Well, the Texas game is probably their best overall game of the year.
But a stretch, because that was their best overall. That's a good point. But is there a stretch of games you thought that was their best?
That was coming off the trip to Arkansas, right? Was that back-to-back Texas and Arkansas?
Yeah. Same road trip. They didn't even come home.
Yeah, that's right. Alabama, don't forget, was up 18. I think it was 20 on the scoreboard, but one bucket got wiped. Up 18. Now, they allowed a comeback, but before they allowed the comeback, I thought Alabama had played some exceptional basketball in Fayetteville. And then prior to that game was the 90-69 win over Georgia. Prior to that game was the win at Mississippi State. It was a hard fought. I would say going into the Auburn game, Alabama was probably, to me, playing their best stretch. I don't know if y'all would agree.
Yeah, that defeats my purpose, Brownie.
You could definitely make that argument.
Okay, do you want me to find you another one?
As a true American media member, I went into this with needed you to make a point for me, and I was incorrect. No, I can't argue with. No need to find another place.
Yeah, but I don't think there hasn't been a low moment.
Yeah. The reason I asked this is because I was hoping you were going to tell me at some point back earlier in the year when a guy named Labaron Philon was a starter. Nate Oates says there is potential that Philon's back in the starting lineup. Here's Nate.
I know you moved Labaron out of the starting lineup when he had that ankle, but now that he's back healthy, has there been consideration? You were just kind of talking about it, of moving him back into the starting lineup.
There is, just because like we love what CY's given us with shooting, toughness, leadership, all that. The issue is, as good a shooter as he is, he's a lot of things I love about him. Mark's probably the only creator in the starting lineup. It helps, kind of like Tony talked about, to have either Mark and Holloway or Mark and Labaron together. So, like, Holloway's been great off the bench. He can score it in a hurry. Gives you that. His pace, he's the fastest of our guards. Sometimes it's nice to bring in a fresh guard that's playing super fast against either the other team's second unit or tired first unit. So, if you want to have two creators in, is it Labaron and Sears, or do you make a quick sub early? Or like we also got to figure out who's healthy enough to go and all that stuff.
Yeah, now see, there were moments during the Auburn game that I would look out there and I would say to myself, who are the guys that create plays and create shots that were on the floor against the toughest defense in America? And there were times it was Mark Sears and that was it. And there were times you looked out there and it was like, who is the guy that can create a play out there?
Well,
I mean, one time it was Stevenson, CY, Amore, Grant Nelson, and I guess it was Philon out there. And I was like, who's scoring on this offense?
You heard, I think it was Stephen or Bruce or both talking about how Auburn, their size of their guards, and how Alabama really struggled with that, and they played kind of over the guards. Now, that's one of the things to look at tonight. Missouri, I said their top 6 minute guys are all guards, but they've got 6'9", they've got 6'6", they've got 6'5", and when you start to look at guys like Sears and you start to look at, guys like Holloway off the bench, you're talking about, 6 feet maybe for Holloway, Sears maybe 5'10", 5'11". So you're going to have, visibly, you're going to see a difference in the Missouri guards and what you've got with Alabama on the court. So you wonder if Missouri looked at a blueprint like Auburn and what Denver Jones was able to do in these Auburn guards and Chad Baker, and they kind of mirror what they did.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of people consider Denver Jones the best on-ball defender in America, and
Bruce let people know if you didn't know, right?
Yeah, you don't have those.
Brown said it 3 days in a row now.
I know. That's right.
I've done away with. We didn't even get to his chuckle yesterday when you asked. Was it the first question to Stephen?
I don't know if it was the first one, but
you had told Stephen you approved of his defensive game plan, and then I said something about.
And I chuckled. I was like, "Boy, can we kiss Stephen Pearl's ass any more than we're doing it right now?"
Like you're in the chat room.
Yeah. Is that what they were saying in the chat room?
Of course. It was positive about Auburn.
Hey, they had to be, because that's the way I felt yesterday when I complimented him and then you backed him up with that Denver Jones. Well, I know you were playing right to little T at that point.
Whatever.
You knew that was going to get sent out again for the third day in a row from our platform.
I love it. Keeping score.
On TikTok and Instagram.
Keeping score. Little T features.
I never thought about that.
Let me give you an on-air edit.
I would think that you
Bullseye, Brown.
Dunaway would definitely do that, but I didn't think he would even be thinking out that you do that.
Oh, please.
You're talking about overthinking.
I monitor everything.
Here's
Couldn't
the key.
we all do that?
I monitor everything.
Couldn't we all do that?
No, here's the key.
We should all do it because Josh Pate's the one that told me that's how you do it.
Here's the key. Here's the key to getting on Little T's radar. Let me go ahead and tell you. I've figured this out. I'll share it with the both of you.
I don't need to know.
Yes,
I'm good.
You wait till there's a silence so that she's got a good clean edit. Yeah. And if you can get a silence, sometimes it's hard. Three of us, we're all talking.
Really tough.
We're all talking, right? You wait till a silence, and then you start in with a good hard point, and then if Scott gives you the single shot, you play to the single shot, right?
Yep.
Now sometimes Scott will give you the single shot, and I'll notice, boom, there's a single shot. So then you really lean into the single shot, and Little T eats that up. So what was the question?
Do I need to make this a goal of mine?
No.
I've never even thought about
It's a little
it.
game I play
I
over
don't
here.
think we can get all three of our egos into 3 hours. The 4 Downs is brought to you by our friends at Slice. Our friends I'm just waiting for me to make a point one day where Little T retweets something with a bullseye Brown. I saw that one this weekend. I was like, dang, I never got a bullseye. Jim Dunaway.
I don't have to be good 3 hours. I only got to be good 3 or 4 minutes every show.
I mean, I said the same thing in the basketball show a couple of times about Denver Jones, but it's okay. Slice brings us to 4 Downs.
5 great locations. Stop in, get a slice and a salad for lunch. Pick up a couple of pizzas on your way home. From the Soul Pie to the Hot Mama, the Bajaya Special, you're going to absolutely love it. Local pizza, local ingredients. Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location in Edgewood. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Okay, I'm going to do this one on the fly because I do think it's interesting. The 6 coaches you gave us earlier, Brian Kelly, Kalen DeBoer, Marcus Freeman, James Franklin, Steve Sarkisian, and Dan Lanning. One of these to win their first national championship, or one of these 3 quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson, to win their first Super Bowl.
Well, it is hard not to go Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. With all due respect to Lamar, the playoffs have been his poison, which I guess you could say the same about Josh Allen. But you can't say that about Joe Burrow. When he gets to the playoffs, he's delivered by and large, hasn't he? I mean, their problem's been getting to the playoffs consistently.
And I'm right about this, right? Ryan Day, Dabo, and Kirby are the only active guys with a national championship.
That's right.
So chances are one of those 6, it's either going to be one of those 3 I just named or one of those 6 to win it in college football.
I think I would feel really good about Allen, Burrow, or Jackson.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
And you still got to go through Mahomes to get there, though.
And then you got to go through the NFC guys. I mean, of the ones you named, I mean, Goff and that Lions team, Stafford and that young Rams team.
Digits for dollars. Would you go 6 coaches or 3 quarterbacks?
I'd go 3 quarterbacks.
I think I would go the 6 coaches.
I'd go 3 quarterbacks. But let me say this.
Because you didn't give me any NFC guys, right?
No.
Oh. Let me say this. Could you see, and I'm not saying this is the case, but this is not a stretch if I paint this picture for you, that 15 years from now you're talking about the Chiefs dynasty and you're like, but it all ended badly, though, that one night in New Orleans when the Eagles ran them off the field. That's
the way it's going to end.
That was the first crack, and they just never really recovered from that.
Kelsey didn't retire. He came back and looked old and was never the same.
Yeah, Mahomes was, people kind of used that blueprint on him more.
Yeah.
Andy Reid retired a couple years later.
His play calling went downhill from that moment on.
You could say, I'm not saying that's the case. I am far from saying that's the case, but I'm saying if you're telling that story 15 years from now, that is totally believable.
The dynasty ends at some point
for everybody
in a place.
Yeah.
Like if you had to go back, where did the dynasty end for Nick Saban? It was probably the Jameson Williams injury in Indianapolis.
Yeah. When they couldn't get across the finish line against Georgia the second time. And Georgia won their first one and then kind of took the reins. Yeah.
I mean, Alabama kept beating Georgia and kept making the playoffs again, but
Georgia won 2 national championships after that, and Alabama won 0.
Didn't win another one.
And what was the break from 92 to 2009, right? So 17 years?
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance 17 years?
No.
Oh, wait, 17 years was longer than Bryant to Stallings.
79 to 92. Yeah.
Which was only 13. And that seemed a long time.
You're right.
Yep.
Second down.
I asked this because last night I went with one, Jack went with the other. But when you're given the opportunity or the option at a Mexican restaurant of corn or flour tortilla,
I almost always go flour.
Flour.
Yeah.
It depends.
I don't hate corn, but if given the choice, I go flour.
It depends. I occasionally go to a place that does not make their flour ones, but makes their corn ones.
Yeah.
And if either one of them are fresh made there, I'll go flour if both are fresh made. But if one of them is fresh made, corn is, and flour is not, I'll go corn. The made in restaurant is so much fresher and better.
Well, the problem with the corn tortilla is it's much smaller for some reason. I don't know why we don't make the corn tortillas as large as the flour tortillas.
Yeah, it's mostly found on the street tacos, which are smaller.
Well, this particular place, it's the
one
same
to one,
size.
then I wouldn't really care.
Because, you've got the flour. Like, if you go to the grocery store, you see the flour in the huge, like, quesadilla, and then you see the flour in the taco. Jack goes flour, I go corn.
Yeah, it's more a size.
But I can go either, but I do like corn better.
Too. It's more a size thing for me that, with fajitas, like some of those corn tortillas are so small, you can barely get anything in there.
Yeah, I think the corn tastes better. You were making it sound like neither one of them, they don't taste different, but I think the corn one tastes better.
Yeah, they taste different.
I think it brings out the food, the taste of the meat and the peppers and the sauce better.
I think corn tortillas taste better, but I like soft tacos better.
Yeah. Well, these are
soft corn.
Oh, they're soft corn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
these aren't the hard shell.
Corn.
Oh, dude, I'm not a magician. I can't balance a taco and a freaking hard shell.
Yeah.
The hard shell taco is one of the dumbest things ever.
Everything just falls out.
Yeah, really. One bite and it falls apart.
Yeah. Then you
Two
got
bites
cheap.
in, you have taco salad.
That's right.
You got cheap nachos at that point.
Yeah.
Third down.
Nikola Jokic, 30 years old today. Hard to believe. He looks like old man, but only 30. If I ask you, ultimately better career, Jokic or Nick Cage? Nikola or Nick?
I'm going to say Jokic, man. I mean, Cage has had a great career, but I think Jokic has already. I think he's fallen off a little bit this year, but not a ton. But what he's been the last 5 years has been unreal. I'm going to go Jokic.
Multiple MVPs, NBA Finals. But Cage, man, I mean, he's done it at a lot of different levels. Like, he's had really, really good roles, like a Leaving Las Vegas, and he's done the big blockbusters.
Yeah, but isn't he largely mocked for some of the bad roles he's taken, though?
He takes a lot of bad roles.
He does, and I think that's what has marked his career more than his successes, Tyler, unfortunately for him, is the bad roles he's taken.
Did y'all ever see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
No.
I haven't seen that yet.
I've seen it multiple times. It's worth the watch.
But
he plays himself, obviously.
Is Leaving Las Vegas his best role?
Yeah, I would think that is his coup de grace. I mean, the fact that he won Best Actor for it.
The way he acted in that.
But he gets destroyed for stuff like National Treasure.
Yeah, well, I would say more so for Ghost Rider.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it is awful.
I think we've discussed
That's off the comic book.
Yeah, it was a Marvel movie before Marvel really started making movies, and it's borderline unwatchable.
But like Wild at Heart, I mean, some of the things that he did early on, Valley Girl. I mean, he is a very eccentric actor, but he's got pretty good chops.
We've
but you're right,
this.
he takes terrible roles.
Yeah, we've discussed this. People bang on The Rock. I kind of like The Rock with him and Sean Connery. I didn't think that was a terrible movie.
I thought it was okay.
Movie.
They did. Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer did one big film every summer, and that was I forgot what summer that was, but I just thought there were better movies they did.
Yeah, I would tell you that he was so good in Leaving Las Vegas that every time I've seen him since watching that movie for the first time, I really do believe he has a drinking problem.
Well,
no, seriously.
Yeah, I don't know if he does or doesn't. I know that he did follow a bunch of like 24/7 alcoholics around to prep for that role.
He had a big spending problem, didn't he?
If you look at the Google search there.
He, I can't remember what he bought. He bought like
a bunch of
random art. Yeah, castles, just crazy extravagant stuff.
People also searched what happened to Nicolas Cage's wealth. What did he spend $150 million on?
$6.3 million in debt to the IRS.
Yeah.
Wow, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So
I blame that a lot of times on whoever's doing your financials.
Yeah, that's why he takes all the movies.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. He's got to work. Yeah.
Fourth down.
Speaking of movies, best movie portrayal as a coach. And boy, they're all over. I mean, or just in entertainment. So you could go Ted Lasso. You could go randomly a guy like Paul Newman in Slapshot as Reggie Dunlop.
I think I would go Gene
Gary
Hackman
Busey as Bear Bryant.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. Gene Hackman as Norman Dell.
Norman Dell was great.
You don't know anything about Norman Dell, which made it easier for Gene Hackman, but Hackman is one of my favorite actors of all time. and you watched that, you just believed he was a small-town high school basketball coach. I mean, it was completely believable.
It was really cheesy, and I only saw, 10, 15 episodes, but Hayden Fox, Craig T. Nelson, his coach.
Yeah, no, he sold that.
I love that show.
Yeah.
Loved that show.
Dauber was the one that didn't, well, I don't know, the other Van Dyke, Jerry Van Dyke. Which one felt less like an assistant, Jerry Van Dyke or Dauber?
You needed Jerry Van Dyke because he was sort of the Barney role to Andy Griffith in that show. You needed him.
I'll tell you another great Morris Buttermaker, Walter Matthau and Bad News Bears.
Oh, that was really good. And we had a guy or two like that, honest to goodness, in Alabaster.
We had when I look back, I always thought they were really old. They were kids in their mid-20s that coached us in Little League.
That's exactly right.
They'd show up in an old shitty car. They had the bucket of balls, the old army green bag full of bats and helmets.
I mean,
and they had liquor on their breath, and I was like, that's what Chuck smells like.
Yeah, my guy was a painter, and he'd pick us up with beer cans rolling in the back. And I mean, he would pitch batting practice with a cold one sitting out there in the dirt, taking a sip. I mean, just nobody thought anything of it.
Nick
and I would get into the back of his truck.
Nick Nolte and Blue Chips. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you would ride in the bed of the truck with the beer cans.
Yeah, they'd roll. You know, you'd run.
Did he have an axe handle on the back of the truck?
Nope. To get in and out. Yeah. Nope. Or to tie things down. No, he's a painter.
Or to bash somebody's head on road rage.
No, because we'd have to pick up some kids, and I was one of them. We'd pick up some kids, we'd roll around, and
I'll tell you some other
5 or 6 kids hop in the back of that truck.
Burgess Meredith is Mickey and Rocky in
that
that franchise.
He played that as a coach, right? He's a coach.
I also thought, what was another one that I came across that I was thinking about? We had him on the show. Lou Brown from Major League.
Oh, yeah, he was good.
James Gambon was his name.
Freaking Wilford Brimley is the manager in The Natural. It's terrific. He and that old guy play off each other so well in that movie.
Richard Farnsworth.
Yeah, they are so good in The Natural.
Yeah. I thought the guy who played Brooks in
Miracle?
The Miracle.
That was Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Did that really well. Kurt Russell.
So the worst, I think, and again, I didn't see it, but I've seen clips from it. Al Pacino and Any Given Sunday, was he bad or was he okay?
Terrible. I mean, I've never watched Any Given Sunday. It looks awful, though.
I don't think he was like a football coach. He was like a mobster who ran a football team.
Goldie Hawn and Wildcats. You know what her character's name was?
No, real character?
Yeah.
No.
Molly McGrath.
Are you serious?
I'm almost positive that's what it was.
Wow, like the sideline reporter.
I thought it was.
That's 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations for you. Stop into one of those today, created by the late Jeff Bajaya, his brothers Jason and Chris. Continue to celebrate that legacy. Local pizza, local ingredients. It is Slice.
A lot of in the chat room, Denzel and Remember the Titans, which I know a lot of people consider that just kind of a cheeseball family movie, but I thought Denzel played an excellent role in that movie.
He did. And the other coach was pretty realistic, too.
Yeah, the guy he replaced?
Yeah.
Or the guy that had to co-coach with him?
Will Patton is that actor's name.
Our friends at New Life also brings you part of the show today, New Life. And Daniel A. Moore with all the great Daniel A. Moore works. You get that at the website danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. You're looking at the legend if you're watching us on TikTok or any of our other video streams today, including YouTube at Next Round Live. Thumbs up and whatever you do on TikTok to like us, which I think is just a heart. A lot of hearts always for Nick Saban in Tuscaloosa, and that's why Daniel A. Moore painted The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. You can go pick that up and look at all the other great works at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. You're talking about turning points in a season. Maybe this happened last night in Storrs, Connecticut. Maybe it's a turning point for Connecticut. They are down at the half by 8 points as they're playing Villanova, and they're leaving the floor, and the home crowd is booing
the two-time defending
national champions. And they go into the locker room. Hurley gives a fiery speech. They come out and win it 66-59. Liam McNeely is really good. And then afterwards, people are asking, could this be the turning point for your team?
You know, it's kind of funny. My daughter had Taekwondo last night, and I looked at the scoreboard, and that game was at the half, and I literally thought, Dunaway, I can't believe people are sweating this UConn team as an 8-9 seed if you're a 1. Like, this is the team you want to play. They are so inconsistent.
McNeely's good enough to take a game over.
Yeah, but boy, that second half, you're right. You start to second guess yourself on that.
And then there was Kansas. We talked about this earlier. They were the first preseason AP #1 team, and they were this year, to lose by 34 points. That's a new record. They lose on the road at BYU last night, 91-57. And Bill Self, Tyler, said this after the game.
Think about it, we need to regroup, get away from each other for a day and go home and hopefully be able to, a lot of times with teams, there needs to be something happen to pull everybody together that is us against the outside. And, we're going to have an opportunity to do that for sure. So a lot of teams go through it. We just haven't been through it much at all in a long time. So, but certainly we're going to go through it this time. So all we have of each other, and we're going to have to be strong for each other and be good teammates and good leaders, and understand that it's if we need to look in the mirror, all of us, and what can we do to change the momentum, and then whatever we commit to doing, then do it. And tonight we were 1 foot in, 1 foot out in how we guarded and a lot of other things.
Yeah, I will tell you this. Odd to say at the beginning of that, we need to be away from each other, and then near the end of that saying, all we have is each other. We need to be together.
It's weird and how calm, like demeanor, urgency, completely different after you win your second national championship.
Yeah. It's wild, though. They could be out of the top 25.
Oh, they will be out of the top 25.
They play Oklahoma State Saturday. It's a game they should, by the way, on CBS. I'm sure CBS is loving that. Kansas, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but
so you think
is that game in Stillwater though?
No, it's in Lawrence.
Yeah, that won't get them. That won't get them back in. They will fall out of the top 25.
That's 2 straight losses at Utah and at BYU. Yeah. And that's just one of those programs like, Alabama and Georgia football, Ohio State football, you never think you will see those programs out of the top 25 again. And here's Kansas about to fall out. You'd have said that about them in basketball.
February 2009, the last time they were not ranked in the AP top 25. Top of the hour, the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They bring you the final hour. We're into that right now. You can get into some great lunch or dinner or to-go orders right there at champyschicken.com. On Highway 119 in Alabaster, go by and see the bearded one, Sterling. He stands among giants when it comes to great food. Right there, over a decade, with that Southern fried chicken that is brined overnight, the hand-cut chicken fingers, the po' boys, the chicken on a stick, the sausage, cheese, pickle plate as an appetizer, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. I could go on and on and on. You can eat for days right there at champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go tell Sterling we said hello.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20. Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com. Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show, as we told you, brought to you always by Champies. More with them coming up in a second. We will get back to college football and college basketball in this segment coming up in a little bit. We'll get on our giddy up, a lot to still get to in the show. Josh Pate with us earlier. You can get that podcasted wherever you get our podcasts, including audio versions on Apple and Spotify, which are brought to you by our wonderful friends, Dr. B, who is helping so many people across our great area get their hair back.
Yeah, hey, look, if you're starting to lose a little bit, be preemptive. If you want to maintain some hair, you want to grow some back, I'm speaking from experience. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Right now, that T3 new test, so easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They can custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women are ordering Hims and other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff and find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316. Call, schedule the consultation. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
Alabama's an underdog at Missouri tonight, 8 o'clock. Number 1 Auburn at home, big favorites against Arkansas. We will hear from Nate and Bruce later this half hour. But NFL first. First off, they redid, just a nugget here, don't want to get in too deep, but adding the streaming services and everything to the Super Bowl. Half of America watched the Super Bowl. 127.7 million on Fox. Add all the streaming platforms and everything, that goes up to 182.8 million Americans. Basically half of America streamed or watched the Super Bowl.
I'm not exaggerating. I don't know anybody that didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys just
I
thinking
really don't.
to yourself?
Most watched thing ever, I assume, at that point, right?
Yeah, it's the most watched. Well, I mean, factoring the streaming and everything, I don't know.
Gotta be.
It's only up 400,000 or 600,000 from the previous Super Bowl.
The MASH finale. Is that,
I mean,
is that thing that is going to hang out forever?
That used to be the gold standard, was the MASH finale or the moon landing.
Yeah, but
the moon landing was on multiple networks.
Yeah, but check out the moon landing and MASH, and those two up there. And
I'll Google most viewed television broadcast of all time. How about that?
But as he does that, that's new from the folks at Fox and the NFL there.
So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things are the Super Bowls. MASH is 12, and then Super Bowls are 13 through 20.
Do they not rank the moon landing?
I don't see the moon landing, but I wonder if that's because it was on multiple networks.
Head of a network, and you get a $20 million contract. If you can, all you've got to do is plan one show, 2 hours, that will be the most watched thing in the history of mankind. Do you think you could do it?
No.
I think you could.
Are there?
No, I'm telling you, I couldn't. Could you do it?
I think I think I could come up with a concept that would be the most watched.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
If I could do that, I would go do that.
No, I mean it's not like there's no parameters. Like much like we don't have an FCC hovering over and we can kind of do what we want. Like if gloves were completely off and whatever the content is.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Now, according to what I'm looking at here, 650 million people worldwide watched the Apollo 11 moon landing. 93% of the televisions saw Neil Armstrong walk on the moon.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's quite large.
If we had a moon landing next week, what do you think the percentage of the population that would watch?
People wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm not sure they'd watch it.
I don't know if I'd watch it. I might.
It probably wouldn't be on the networks. It'd probably be just on the cable channels.
Pay-per-view.
All right, so that gets me to the question I wanted to ask, where I actually have 12, and you may be able to add more, 12 NFL franchises that have questions at quarterback. Now, like I have the LA Rams in here.
Yeah, see, and that's one of those that I wouldn't have considered, but now I get it based on the potential restructuring of this contract for Stafford.
Now, this is my list, so I may be incorrect on some of these.
Okay.
This isn't from somebody.
Okay.
But I got the LA Rams on the list.
As you go through it, I'm just going to, in my head, I'm just going to figure out how many I believe need quarterback.
But I'm not saying they need it, but they got to fix the Stafford contract, or they may need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So there's a question there. There is no doubt to me the Jets are in search of a quarterback.
100%. Yep, they're done with Aaron Rodgers.
Las Vegas is. Yep. They need a quarterback.
Yep.
They have a question. They may get Aaron Rodgers. I put Atlanta on here. I think the answer is Penix, but they've got to figure out.
Yeah,
how
I
to
didn't
dump
have
Cousins,
Atlanta.
right?
And I can make an argument for 11, so I think we're really close. I think Penix is the guy. I mean, look, it does suck that you're just going to piss this money away on Kirk Cousins.
Well,
and
that's
that
your
seemed
own
like
fault.
that's something that would have worked for 2 years, but it didn't even work for a year. But I think it's pretty obvious where the direction they need to go with Penix.
Sometimes you just flush it, right? You just
Yeah.
go ahead and
Yeah,
flush
you
it.
just have to say, hey, we screwed that one up.
Well, what you do is you look at what did they end up paying Cousins? Was it like $35 million, $40
Something like that,
million?
yeah.
I think it was 40
It was a $100 million deal.
So the way I would just to be able to swallow it is we've got Penix on this rookie contract. The combination's not even what you would pay a top 10
in other
quarterback.
words, we should be, if Penix plays to the level we hope he can, we'd be paying him $30 million anyway.
Yeah, so it works out good.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton just re-signed a 2-year contract with Carolina. Bryce looked good at coming back after he was benched, but I still put Carolina with a question here. Do you put Carolina?
No. I
think you saw enough out of Bryce at the end of the year. Yeah.
And I think Canales is a good enough offensive guy that I think it's about rebuilding the offensive line and bringing more weapons in.
I put Carolina there. I put Cleveland there.
Yep,
you either got to
definitely.
dump Deshaun or he's got to get better or
Well,
whatever.
he's already talked about restructuring, but even if you restructure, is he good enough?
Yeah.
I think he's definitely bottom half of quarterbacks
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. For what you're paying him, you are pissing money away on Deshaun Watson.
I put the Giants there.
Definitely.
100%. Yep. I put Minnesota there because you've got to decide.
Yeah, I mean, we did not see enough of J.J. McCarthy. We only saw preseason. Everybody seemed high on him in the preseason.
I think the way Darnold played, I think you've got to figure out a way to get him at least another year.
Can't you do the San Francisco method, though? Because you're going to have McCarthy on this rookie deal for 4 years. And
they say they don't want to tag him, which is about $41 million.
Tag who, Darnold?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't.
I mean, but your other option is doing a Falcons-like contract like they did with Cousins.
Yeah.
And it's weird that it's the same team, Minnesota, we're talking about here. But Darnold is not going to stay for a one-year deal, is he?
Yeah, I get the feeling that they're just waiting to see if somebody's going to overpay. If they overpay, then we'll go with JJ. If they don't overpay, then they have to sit down. Hey, look, you had a great season. We're going to pay you X. We think this is fair. And, our plan moving forward after this year is JJ. But if you play like you did last year, you're going to get a big contract. So it's a win-win. And I think if JJ gets, one of these big deals from somebody else, I think they'd let him go.
New Orleans and Tennessee, easy, right?
Easy, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And I put Seattle just because of Geno's age.
Yep, I would put Seattle in the mix.
Yeah.
And Geno's solid.
You said you had 11.
He's better than Deshaun.
And you didn't put Atlanta. You didn't put Carolina. So you had one more somewhere.
So I went Jets. You didn't go Pittsburgh.
I didn't go Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Because they don't have anybody right
No,
now.
They got to figure something out.
Yeah. Pittsburgh.
I think Aaron Rodgers, I'll actually be a little surprised if he doesn't end up there. And it's going to be weird. Like, give me another quarterback that goes from maybe technically the best we've ever seen to going to another where it looks strange where he's in that uniform to playing for a third. Like, Joe Montana with the Chiefs was weird.
Not a quarterback, but Jerry Rice is the closest comparison I can think of. Went from the 49ers to the Seahawks.
To the Raiders.
To the Raiders to the Seahawks.
But I'm just talking about, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Have you ever seen him in 3 uniforms? Oh, I guess I take that back.
Favre.
We had Favre.
Yeah.
Because we had the
Vikings,
the
Jets, and Packers
for a minute.
Yeah.
For just a second. And then the Vikings, he had success.
I always forget the Jets' tenure.
Yeah. And
it's forgettable.
I guess Aaron Rodgers is hoping he would do something at his next stop to make you forget about his Jets stay. Yeah. But I think that may be what you're talking about, LT, is why he was pleading, according to the New York Post, to stay with the Jets. Just that look of a third uniform.
Yeah, maybe the Jets are just absolutely cursed after the guarantee because you guys help me out. I mean, the best quarterback play I've seen, like Richard Todd or Ken O'Brien and Richard Todd were okay. Vinny Testaverde for a year or two was really good.
Boomer had some moments there, didn't he?
Some moments. Yeah. Chad Pennington had some moments, but they're in quarterback purgatory forever. And you go back to 97. Peyton Manning comes out, he goes to the Jets.
If he comes out,
decides not to come out. And how different is that franchise?
Well, I mean, because the best success they have had since the guarantee was with Mark Sanchez at quarterback, and it had nothing to do with Mark Sanchez being at quarterback. It had everything to do with an incredible defense.
This sounds stupid, but I honestly would avoid the Jets because it's almost jinxed. I mean, going back to Favre, Favre was great in Green Bay.
He took NFC.
He was okay
Minnesota
with the Jets.
Didn't he take Minnesota to the NFC Championship against the Saints? Right?
That was the bounty game.
Yeah, against the Saints.
Where they beat him to hell and back.
Yeah, Greg Williams eventually got fired because of it.
Yep. And Peyton got suspended for a year.
For a whole year. Head coach got suspended
That's
the whole year.
insane, yeah.
All right, that's a little NFL for you. The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them is our friends at New York Butcher. They bring us that conversation there.
Just a great place to pick up dinner. Go by there for a sandwich for lunch today. You're going to love Jim and his incredible staff. 2 locations, the original Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. From the fresh meats to specialty items, a fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. Rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Leslie and her board-certified team helping me drop some weight down to 177. You can jumpstart your weight loss today. It is easy to do. All you have to do is go to that website at planforme.com, planforme.com. You'll get all the details there and how you can set up a free consultation with Leslie and her board-certified team. Here's the cool thing. There's no contracts. There's no sign-up fees. And as I said, that consultation's free. So you sort of get the lay of the land, whether or not you think you would like it. Just right off the bat by going to planforme.com, planforme.com. Meal replacements, protein bars, other ways to lose weight, including injection therapies. If you want to try that, it's all right there at planforme.com, planforme.com. All right, before we get back to college basketball and the big games tonight, including 2 big ones here in our state, one college football coach seems to have the future of recruiting down pat. It is Deion Sanders.
Coach Prime.
For the 2nd straight years, he made no visits to high school in recruiting and no in-home visits. No high school, no in-home visits. He said last week on a podcast, I'm recruiting mostly portal guys. They're grown-ass men with kids. They don't need me coming to their crib.
With kids?
That's what he said. It was on a podcast last week. I'll give you an example, though. He made 0 in the second straight year to a high school or to a home. USA Today says Matt Rule, by comparison, made 486 during this one recruiting cycle.
In-home visits?
Off-campus.
Off-campus, yeah.
Recruiting trips, whether high school or in-homes. 486 for Matt Rule. Brian Kelly was tops in the SEC with 257. Deion, 0.
0.
I mean, look, everything the guy has done, we've said you can't win college football.
Well, that was one of the
way.
reasons I said it was going to be a disaster last year because we were having this conversation. I was like, there is no way Colorado's going to be able to do anything if he's not, going out there and pursuing this.
And our next doubt on Deion is going to be, okay, well, let's see how he does it without Travis Hunter and his son Shador, right?
Right.
But, I mean, everything we have said is you can't win football this day and age doing it the way Deion has done it. And all he's done is take one of the worst programs in college football and completely flip it around. I mean, I'm not going to doubt his approach. It doesn't seem like it will work, but everything he's done doesn't seem like it will work.
Another comparison from USA Today here. Jared Curtis, who is one of the top recruits in the 2026 cycle coming up, I think he's a big quarterback. In a 10-day period, he posted on his Instagram in-home visits in a 10-day period on his social media from coaches from Alabama, Georgia, Florida State, Auburn, South Carolina, North Carolina in a 10-day period. Meanwhile, Deion,
0.
Not in the house.
I'm not going to doubt the guy. No. I've doubted him every step of the way, and all he has done is prove me wrong as a doubter. So we'll see how it works.
Back to basketball tonight as we get ready for first Auburn, number 1 in the country. Cut number 5, if you can, Tyler. Bruce Pearl gets asked about Johni Broome and where he ranks as one of the greats in Auburn basketball history. Listen to Bruce here.
Broome amongst the greatest players in Auburn's history, like Charles Barkley and Chuck Person.
Yeah, well, that's all to be determined, and you really aren't going to be able to write that chapter until the last chapter of his book's written, and that's to be determined. He's clearly, if this team can continue to have the success that we've had, that he absolutely has a chance to go down as one of our all-time great players. I've already said that, again, same thing. If we continue to be able to find ways to win and he continues to stay healthy and play well, he'll be right there for National Player of the Year. And he's right there in the discussion of, name me a better transfer over a 3-year period than Johni Broome in the country. But again, these things all are still to be determined.
Look, I think it's slam dunk, right? Like if Broome wins National Player of the Year and they go to a Final Four, he is your best Auburn player of all time.
Even if he doesn't win National Player of the Year, LT, they have been number 1 in the country since January 13th. I mean, we're sitting here past Valentine's Day now.
Clear read, not for Taylor. Don't send this out because it's negative. Even if he wins Player of the Year and they go to a Final Four, maybe win a championship, I think he is the best Auburn player. He will never even come close to doing what Chuck Person did, much less Charles Barkley.
At the NBA level.
At the NBA level.
And that's the thing is when you start talking about Charles, because Charles for his career averaged 14 and he was so close to averaging a double-double his whole career. Couldn't quite do it on the rebounds. But 14 and 9.
That's at Auburn.
At Auburn.
Yep.
But what Charles went and did in the NBA, it's just impossible to only look at what he did at Auburn.
Yeah, and this shows you how good, the evaluation at the NBA level. I mean, Chuck was viewed as a top 3-4 guy coming out, which he ultimately went to the 76ers, but they knew with that explosion, with his hands, what he was going to be able to do, and he turned into one of the greatest power forwards we've ever seen.
In comparison, Broome averages 15 and 9. It's really close. I mean, Charles is 14 and 9.6. Broome's 15 and 9.4.
Yeah, but I also look at success on court, team success.
Right. Team success is going to help Johni Broome at Auburn. Barkley is going to be perceived as nationally as the greatest Auburn basketball player because of what he did in the NBA.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and for Alabama, I don't know who would that be that perceived guy. Maybe one day it's Brandon Miller, maybe it's Robert Horry because of the rings.
I think people think Horry.
But
I never do.
That's Alabama's best basketball player?
No,
who do you think it is?
He was a role player off the bench.
Reginald King, T.R. Dunn.
Not at Bama, he wasn't.
No, but when he got to No, I don't think Robert Horry was the best player on his team. Latrell Sprewell was.
Yeah, I'm talking about at Bama, though, Sears could end up being that guy.
Yeah, maybe Mark Sears.
I mean, Sears, because he got him to the Final Four, will be recognized as, I think, maybe one of the more popular. His popularity has gone down this year. But
yeah, I mean, Sears won't even have the NBA career that Terry Connor had.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
the names you're pulling.
But Robert, by the way, who Big Shot Bob was on the national radio broadcast this past week.
Was he really?
Yeah,
I didn't know he was doing that.
Big guy, not a lot of space. I had to walk past him and go to the bathroom every time. My media row seat was 2 seats down from him.
He's a legit 6'10".
He was having to sit in the same chair I was. I mean, it never looks comfortable when you're that big of a guy.
Is there a chance? I'm looking this up because I don't know what the number is. Alabama's all-time leading scorer.
Buck Johnson?
I mean, it may already be Sears, but they would have stopped the game and recognized that if it was Sears, right?
They did stop the game. He went over 2,500.
Yeah, but is that all-time Alabama?
I
or was
don't
that just
think
2,500
so.
points?
I think that goes back to Ohio.
I'm sure it does. Career points.
Reggie King had 2168. I don't know that Sears is going to get there.
He's the guy that I would call the greatest Alabama basketball player of all time.
Reginald King.
And if McKee doesn't get suspended that year, maybe he's that guy.
Brandon Miller, who was back at the game this past week, got a huge standing ovation in Coleman Coliseum. Herb Jones was there. A couple other great recent Nate Oat players were there, but Brandon Miller was there. I mean, he was only there for 1 year, but Brandon Miller was a stud when he was in college.
If you had to do your all-time starting five, I mean, is Mark Sears in your all-time starting five? See, here's what's difficult to do is to remove what they did in the NBA.
Yeah, that's right. Because when you think of great USC football players, there is no doubt when he wore the uniform, Reggie Bush. But because of what he didn't do in the NFL, he's not the first guy you go to.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the same, I would say for Matt Leinart. Like Leinart was, to me, by far the best quarterback USC's ever had.
And do you think people really think Patrick Mahomes is the greatest Texas Tech player of all time?
No. Wes Welker.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying there are people.
It's really Michael Crabtree, probably.
Yeah. No, your boy that played linebacker.
Oh, Zach Thomas.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
But people, because of what he's done in the NFL, are going to say Patrick Mahomes is the greatest Texas Tech player of all
they're
time.
just going to assume he was that at Texas Tech, and he wasn't.
Yeah, and I don't even think he was the best Texas Tech quarterback.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, I think if you go back to some of the Leach guys, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Cut one, Tyler. Alabama. You can't call it an upset alert. They can't be on upset alert tonight. The national rankings tell you it's number 4 versus 15. So I guess technically if you're looking at the AP poll, it'd be the rankings. If you're looking an upset. If you're looking at KenPom, it'd be an upset. But in gambling circles, Missouri is the favorite in the game tonight, unless it's changed. It's been volatile. Bama opened as a favorite.
Yeah, still 1.5 Missouri.
Missouri got to 1.5. It's at 1.5. Nate Oates says, he saw this last year. They lost a high-profile game day game against Tennessee and did not react well.
Can we bounce back after a tough loss with the proper mindset? And I referenced last year, I was a little disappointed with our leadership last year, after the Tennessee game, going into Florida, have some of our guys this year grown up and matured since last year. If some of the new guys, can some of the new guys that we've got provide better? And based on yesterday's practice and today's practice, I think the answer is yes. I think some of the guys that were on last year's team that kind of wallowed in self-pity, if you will, after the Tennessee loss, and then didn't have us ready to go into Florida, looked a lot better yesterday in practice than we had last year. And I think some of the new guys got a good disposition about them to help us in that regard.
Yeah, that's good. And maybe Philon starting again, Nate said earlier in the show.
Yeah, I would just, I would say this. Alabama, I think, coming into the Auburn game, as we discussed earlier, was playing their best basketball of the season. They ran up against what you say is the best defense in the nation. I mean, KenPom doesn't agree with that, but, I mean, that's just, your eyes told you it is a really good defense. There's no doubt about it.
What if I tell you that's the best defense in the country because they are also the best offense in the country?
Well, they are the best offense in the country, according to KenPom, yes.
So, okay, they're number 1. What are they in defense? 3?
13. Lower than you would think, 13.
Okay.
But, I mean, 1 is Tennessee, obviously.
You see what I'm saying? You've got the best jab in boxing because you have the best knockout punch in boxing.
So, but my point was going to be, I'm going to say they're probably still playing to the level that they were playing before that Auburn game. They just ran up against the best team in the country, and Missouri is not that. So I actually anticipate Alabama having a really good game tonight. I think Alabama wins this game. They've played better on the road. I still think they're playing to that level. I don't think one game is going to knock you off of at least you hope it doesn't, off of a 4, 5, 6 game stretch where you were playing your best basketball of the season.
Boy, I hope not. And because the schedule gets even tougher after this.
I think this Missouri team is not being given a lot of credit, though.
Because of the name of Jersey.
Yeah.
Because they were 0-18.
Well, and because they don't have a player like a Mark Sears.
Yeah. By the way, SEC bubble trouble, is that a real thing? You say 9 teams are locked. I think you're dead on with that. And looking at Lenardi, who sent out a list yesterday before the games, had Texas.
Bless you.
I could not avoid that one. Texas, Vandy, Oklahoma, Arkansas, as far as the last 4 byes, last 4 in, and then Georgia was on the other side out. So that's 5. That's of the 13 that we're going to get bids there.
Yeah, I think 8 should be locks. When you get to Vanderbilt and you get to Texas and you possibly get to Georgia and Arkansas, those should not be locks.
What about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma should not be a lock.
That loss last night hurt them.
Yeah, and they're 3-10 in conference. I know the SEC is brutal, but when you're 7 games under 500, you got to win some of these games.
At some point, I know this is a really good conference, but you sit in that room and you're like, this team is 3-10.
Right,
I can't even really consider them.
Like Georgia is out for me. They haven't done it. Oklahoma is in trouble. I agree. Arkansas needs a win.
Yeah, I think they're out.
Arkansas,
I mean, they should be.
Vandy and Arkansas are 42 and 43 in the net, so that's as bubble as it gets right there. Now, Georgia, you just knocked them out. It's 39.
Where's Texas?
They're above
Texas,
they're in the 30s.
Is 32.
Man, I mean, we're talking about teams that it's going to be hard for me to feel good about saying this team wins this game. They've just one game in the tournament.
Let me just give you the net ranking of all the teams y'all are talking about.
Because these
right
are
there.
all going to be 7-10, 8-9 type teams.
Texas is 32, Georgia 39, Vandy 42, Arkansas 43, Oklahoma 53. Oklahoma's way out at 53, don't you think?
Yeah. After last night,
Yeah. I mean, that's 16-10 is their record. I mean, they're
3-10 in the SEC. They were unbeaten when they came and started the league in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, but Oklahoma, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, Vanderbilt, they can all play their ways in. They can play their way out.
Yeah. LSU, South Carolina, only one really totally eliminated right now.
Yeah, I mean, 78 and 95th in the net,
yeah. Basketball continues tonight, 8 o'clock for both Auburn and Alabama happening this evening. We'll have reaction for you after the game live on our video platform. At the conclusion of whichever game ends last, Auburn on ESPN or Alabama on the SEC network. Hot and cold, you get that in shooting. You get that when the weather here in Alabama, Hemp Hill. Make sure all the air conditioning is running, but don't forget the plumbing services you get there with our friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Services, best in the business. Trusted name, Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys are on standby. Call them, tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
It's time to pull the trigger on the next round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Back with you on the Next Round. Alabama, Auburn, Auburn, Alabama, most watched ESPN broadcast of college basketball this year. Have you seen the number, Brown?
I have.
Yeah.
I don't know how that compares. I don't have a good place to get I can get college football all season easy, but I can't get college basketball as easily, so I don't know how it compares to the highest ranked games this season in college basketball.
I think Auburn-Duke may have been in the conversation for the highest one before that, but 2.8 million viewers is the number, which would be a disappointing afternoon or evening on ESPN for an SEC football game, but it's the most watched college basketball game of the year, peaked at 3.5 million.
I think I saw the NBA All-Star number just came out today, too, and I think it was only 4 million. So a regular season 1 versus 2 matchup versus the NBA All-Star game, you would normally think that's a blowout, but it really wasn't. And I think that shows you it says a lot about the NBA All-Star game, but also the crowd or the audience that watched Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, keep in mind that ESPN also owns ABC, and they had Duke and Cooper Flagg playing on at the same time on ABC at the same time.
It was a terrible game, too.
And I don't know if, this is the most watched on ESPN. I don't know if the ABC Duke game beat that. I'd love to see what that rating was.
Again, I'll see if I can find it, Jim. I've got a site, Sports Media Watch, that gives you really good running football ratings, but they don't do the same thing for basketball. And that makes it a little more difficult to dig some of this stuff up.
Duke Clemson the week before was the highest viewed ESPN game of the year. It was 2.1 million before that. Alabama's win at Arkansas was before that at 1.48 million, so it drops off pretty quickly. So, interesting. By comparison, Alabama-Auburn football game last year
drew a 7.1 rating on ABC, which was low, by the way, for an Auburn-Alabama football game.
Yeah, that is. That 7.1, that normally does better than that. It was not much of a game.
Yeah. By the way, the hockey that comes back tomorrow night, it drew 10.1 million viewers in North America, 4.4 million in the U.S., 5.7 million in Canada, where they love their hockey and got their butts kicked. They play together again tomorrow night, where they expect the ratings to be up higher on main ESPN for that. That rating update and this little note brought to you by Image Craft. Brownie, you'll need to print new bios for Kyrie Irving.
What?
He is going to play for Australia in the 2028 Olympic Games.
How's that work?
Kyrie is not going to play. I think he's dual citizenship.
Yeah, well, no, he was born in Melbourne.
Born in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So he's
his parents have U.S. blood, so he's...
Yeah, I think if you're born in whatever country or continent, I think you are awarded citizenship if you
in some
apply
places,
for it.
yeah. In some
now
places.
he's got to still jump through some hoops, but he hasn't even made our qualifying teams the last couple of times.
2016 is the last time he wore red, white, and blue for Team USA. He's 32, so Kyrie for the Roos down under. Good day, partner, mate.
I thought he was heading down to Australia so he could find out if the world was actually flat.
Oh, yeah, he's a flat earther, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that
be
gives him easy access to Antarctica to go see the ice wall.
He'll be leaning this way. Don't want to fall off when he's down there practicing.
Look over the edge.
Did you just give us a good day, partner?
Good day, partner. Brought to you by Image Craft.
If you are a business that prints alike, car dealerships, mortgage companies, real estate offices, banks, schools, universities, pharmacies, you use a lot of paper and a lot of printing supplies, Image Craft is who you need to talk to because they specialize in low-cost printer and copier supplies, and they carry all the major brands, HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, Xerox, and they deliver all in-stock items to the Birmingham metro area same day delivery. They also free ship outside the area, free shipping outside the area, right there on Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center. Imagecraft.net is the website to go to, and you could save there with a code TNR10 to save 10%. Just mention the next round in-store. They'll give you 10% off in-store as well. Print more, spend less with ImageCraft, imagecraft.net.
As we head to trash, hats off to Terrence Shannon Jr., who is raising money for the Boys and Girls Club locally there after the mishap at Illinois this past weekend. Remember, he was getting his jersey retired. They put it on upside down, was raising it to the banner. He is now selling a T-shirt that says, "When life has you upside down, turn it around." And it has the retired jersey on it, and upside down is upside down on the jersey.
He'll sell 3 of those.
So I would hope Illinois fans buy them out of guilt.
And anybody that buys that, it goes directly, all proceeds to the Boys and Girls Club there locally in the state of Illinois.
If you sent it to their NIL, you probably would sell 3 more.
Yep. I actually like the T-shirt. I guess that's the front of the T-shirt.
Yeah, I kind of like the front of the T-shirt. Yeah,
yeah, where it's actually upside down.
Yeah. Again, if you're an Illinois fan, you almost have to buy this out of guilt.
Wow, and you walk into a bar with that T-shirt, you're going to confuse everybody if they've been drinking. What in the hell are you wearing?
I would tell you this: is there a chance that was just a publicity stunt to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club? They told them I wanted to do it.
If it was a sellable product, because if you would have, you pitch it, you hear this, you see the shirt. You start to process it. What are the chances he's going to sell? Literally, will he sell more than 100 of these shirts?
Oh, I bet he will.
Oh, I don't know.
I bet.
Again, man, if I'm an Illinois fan, I feel so bad for him. I feel like I have to buy it.
I bet they're flying off the shelf.
Guy had the greatest day of his life, and my school completely fumbled it.
It is time for Trash. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Just talking about them right now with great opportunities over the next 12 months to get into that new home, maybe for your first-time home buyers. Our friends at Mortgage Right will help you. It brings you Trash. You ready, man?
The line is baked in a buttery, flaky crust.
Baked on a buttery crust. Baked on a buttery, crispy crust.
Damn, flaky.
I thought I said flaky. Baked in a buttery flavored crust. Crust.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. We did have somebody reach out, and they sent us this. Brown, you'll love the headline. Lily Phillips, the woman who slept with 100 men in 24 hours, announces she is pregnant.
If only we could figure out what causes that.
I mean, really, how would she get pregnant?
I know. I mean,
how many? 100.
I thought it was 1,000.
No, well, there was
think she did both.
No.
Okay.
So because there was a little disconnect. The one that what was her name? Something Blue.
Oh, she did 1,000.
She
right?
did 1,000, over 1,000. This Lily Phillips only literally did 100.
Yeah,
but she got pregnant.
It only took one, by the way.
Yeah.
So only one team has to fall in love with you, Jim. There's obviously no way to track this. If you're one of the 100, do you submit to the DNA test?
Well, I mean,
or is there one requested?
I think you just take your chances there.
Yeah.
It's the
Like,
greatest.
there's a 99%
Well, I'm
chance
sure
that
she's gonna
this
be a
does
great
not belong
mom,
to me.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Greatest Maury Povich of all time, though. You don't have to
Yeah.
invite a studio audience. You just fill the seats with the dads.
Somebody in this audience is going to be a dad today.
Yeah.
Hey, you look familiar. I think I was in line behind you.
You know what's crazy in the article that I did see is she went through all of this STD testing before and after. Nothing, but she got pregnant.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, this world.
Yep. Starbucks employee was attacked by a customer's pet monkey, according to Alabama police. So local one
Wait a
here.
minute.
The incident happened Friday, January 10th. The Mobile Police Department said in an email the animal and its owner were gone by the time officers arrived, but investigators pieced together what happened. Now, the employee was working the drive-thru when a monkey went inside of the customer's vehicle. It got free. Police went on to say, quote, the monkey then leapt from the vehicle through the window of the business, attacked an employee. Monkey then re-entered the customer's vehicle before the customer drove away. The owner of the animal could face charges. This remains an active animal services investigation,
Tyler,
in court, according to police.
Stock photo, or is that the actual monkey?
This is the actual Aotis monkey that jumped through the Starbucks window.
See, just book by picture, picture by book, whatever, I would have gone lemur here.
Okay,
He does look a little lemurish.
Yeah, let's don't lose sight of the fact we're smoking a heater up in the top corner of the screw. A lot going on in this car. We're smoking a heater. We got a monkey.
Yep.
Looks like maybe some sort of fur coat we're wearing.
Sarah Jessica Parker's hands.
Yeah, does not look like a beater of a car. Looks like it might be a decent car. I mean,
No. That's a very custom steering wheel.
Yeah, very
right?
nice steering wheel. And a monkey.
Well, I mean, if you got a monkey that's indigenous to Central and South America, which these monkeys are,
Yeah,
you got to have a little coin
like
to get
a,
it here.
a chimp or anything.
Yeah,
This is like just kind of an exotic monkey.
You're telling me I can't buy this at Ed's Pet World?
What kind of tat does she have on the right wrist where she's smoking the heater?
It looks like Yoda on a wellness retreat. Like he's got ashes on his face and he's just come out of a steam room, a sauna.
Yeah.
Look at that paw.
Yeah.
He's got some fingers on him. So it leapt through the drive-thru window.
If he handed you a piece of candy, would you eat it?
Negatron.
Yeah.
So it leapt through the drive-thru window. So now Starbucks employees have to corral a monkey.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, that monkey could get scalded. They got some hot product.
They
back
do.
there.
What if that monkey just reached up and grabbed that steamer thing?
That's what I would be doing, though. I would arm myself with a very hot thing of water, in case he started running at me.
And just scald him?
I would throw it at him.
Yeah, you would protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
Not worry about the monkey.
Oh, I'm not worried about the monkey.
Hey, kill the monkey.
Most restaurant kitchens have a dispenser for boiling water,
That's right,
so
yes.
you could just have like a pitcher of it ready to go.
Yeah,
or you could put a butcher knife through his heart.
You could do that, Lance. Yes, that is a possibility.
That'd be a bit messier.
Yeah.
I am scared, though, of exotic animals in the wild. Brown and I got invited over to the back of a pickup truck at an Auburn, Alabama football game down at Jordan-Hare, where a nice Auburn family had a pet monkey in the back seat, right? Or was that a kangaroo?
It was a kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Yeah, it was a baby kangaroo in a back seat at a Iron Bowl, Tyler. Not just like randomly we were in Auburn. Dunaway and I were walking to the Iron Bowl, and they're like, "Hey, Dunaway Brown, love the show. Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Hey, I want to show y'all something in my truck." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe he's got an autographed football from Bo Jackson. I don't know." And he's baby kangaroo.
Yep.
So exotic animals kind of freak you out?
Yeah, because they're exotic.
Well, so let me ask you this: if you had to do, ride to the beach.
In the name.
You've got to drive, and you got 3 of those monkeys in your car just bouncing around.
No.
Or you've got to go 5 or 6 hours to a swingers party that you were invited to. And you got to kill time, whatever you want to do at the swingers party.
Both have exotic animals involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this 2 truths and a lie? I think I am not worried about getting bit at a swingers
Which one?
party.
Oh, I don't know. I think
I think I'd rather be bit by the monkey.
I think your odds of getting bit are 100% in either
That
one.
monkey at some point can turn on you. They're wild animals. They all scare me. Camel riding, horse riding.
You don't think an unsatisfied woman can be an animal?
Yeah, I've lived with them my whole life.
So we got a Florida man and his dogs lucky to be alive after an alligator attack. We do have some. This is animal themed.
I kind of like that though. I like a good thing.
The man was in the 11-foot gator's mouth, being dragged away when his neighbor drove by in a Lincoln SUV. Now the neighbor quickly threw it in reverse.
Why we drop a humble brag in the middle of this?
Hey,
he's driving by is fine, but a Lincoln SUV.
Driving by my brand new Lincoln.
This is a good neighbor though. Quickly threw it in reverse and ran the alligator over. Now, it was a normal day for Rick Fingerett of Florida as he walked his 2 Labrador retrievers down the road.
His last name is what?
Fingerett.
Okay.
It is Finger and then E.T.
E.T. Fingerett.
Oh, how about that? A play on E.T.
Yeah.
With the long-ass
With the
fingers.
finger, yeah.
Now, Fingerett started backing away but tripped. The gator had him in his jaws. Alligator started to try to drag Fingerett towards the water but struggled. He was a bit large for the alligator. He started fighting back and poking its eyes, couldn't get free. His dogs were frozen in terror. That's when Walt Reuter happened to drive by at the right moment. They saw Fingerett lying on his side screaming and thought he may have fallen. They realized he was in an alligator's mouth. Boy, that's quite the sight.
Yep. Yeah.
Fingerett said to get his dogs in the Lincoln SUV and run the gator over. Rudder followed his instructions, and the alligator ran back to the water after being run over. Now, as police officers arrived, they stopped his bleeding with a T-shirt and a dog leash.
Why a dog leash and a T-shirt?
It's quite the tourniquet,
I've
right?
told you guys I ran over an alligator once in Florida.
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
I've
Of
mentioned
all
it
your
several
stories.
times. We were driving.
Is this a Dunaway embellish? You actually hit a lizard?
No, this is 100%
Now it's
true.
a gator?
100% true.
Speed bump?
It's we were trying to figure out, like, what did we just hit? So it's pitch dark, 98, you know which road I'm talking about, that runs from Panama City to Destin. I think we had been to Panama City and we're going back to 30A, and we're on 98, pitch black, probably 10:30 at night. And it was a massive bump. And so massive, we're like, what did I just hit?
What kind of car were you in? An SUV?
Yeah, it was an SUV. And
was it a Lincoln?
It was not a Lincoln, not a brand new Lincoln. I want to say a Ford Explorer, but I'm not 1,000% confident on that.
Man, I would think it would F your vehicle.
Well,
up
that's
back.
why we went back. We're like,
Was
what
it your
did I
old
just hit?
4Runner?
It was not a 4Runner, no. And I doubled back and went back, and the alligator was like struggling to get across 98 at that time, and another car had pulled
Did you help
over.
it?
No, it's an alligator. It's an angry alligator now.
Yeah.
Man, but they just duct taped this one up.
Yeah, they just wrapped him up with duct tape.
So this guy, was he still in the mouth when the guy in the blue shirt backed up?
Yeah.
So he backed up. That's good driving to back
Yeah.
up and not run over your friend. There's a
Well,
good
I mean,
chance.
all you got to do is get its tail, though, right?
I know, but 8 out of 9 times, the person backing up is going to back over his friend and actually kill the friend.
Not me, the alligator. But I tell you what, if you run over an alligator at 65 miles an hour, you know it.
You feel it.
You know you
Well, I
did
mean, I would
something.
think you catch air, and your undercarriage is destroyed.
I mean, it was the boom, boom. Yeah, I mean, it was like hitting a speed bump. I mean, imagine hitting a speed bump at 65.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go from gator to shark. I still don't understand some of these stories, but a tourist has been savagely attacked by a shark off the Caribbean beach. With reports that the victim lost both of her hands as her husband tried to fight the beast off. Now, the woman believed to be a Canadian national was enjoying a holiday in Turks and Caicos when the bloody attack happened last Friday. She was just a few yards from the shore when the predator struck, according to social media. Now, the 55-year-old had been waiting in the shallows as she, quote, attempted to engage with the animal and take a picture of it.
What are you even doing?
Witnesses say the woman's family was nearby at the time and that her husband had bravely tried to stop the shark from biting her again. If your husband doesn't help you out,
Yeah, I mean, he will, but my gosh, I've got to you're trying to make a picture with a shark? Is that what the story is?
Yeah, pictures show how a crowd gathered around the injured woman after she made it back to the beach with clothes being held onto her arms as they apparently tried to stem the bleeding. Shark was estimated to be around 6 feet long. Local government said, adding that the species is not yet known. I would assume with that size and that aggression, it's got to be a bull.
Yeah.
One witness told local news, quote, "I was there for 40 minutes and it was still lingering." Definitely a bull. Man claimed to be a relative of the woman, said she was able to walk back to shore after being bitten. She was bitten in the thigh. Added she did not lose her leg. At the same time, husband desperately tried to fight off the shark as it continued to circle and tried to bite the woman again. Victim was brought ashore, rushed to the local medical center for treatment. Woman reportedly had one of her hands amputated at the wrist and the other one midway down to her forearm. She is now receiving medical care back in Canada.
Look, thank God she's alive, but what are you thinking? I'm going to make a photo with a shark?
You don't pet the shark either.
Yeah, holy crap.
There was a little update to this, and it was a bull shark.
Okay.
So
Now, is that a photo of the actual shark, or is this a stock photo?
That is just a good photo of a bull shark.
Okay, that's an actual bull shark.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Rate.
Yeah, it is buying season always. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for before you take the next steps on a home purchase or refinance. Talk with our friends at Mortgage Right, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
And the final hour always brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go check out that wonderful, wonderful crew there. Sterling has a lot of folks that have been around for a decade with him at that one location. That's how great of a place it is to work and to go hang out and have a great lunch. Happy hour's fantastic there. Dinner, get it to go. Your meetings, your tailgates, your sports watching, your movie watching, it's all better with Champy's food. That includes the Southern Fried Chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. Highway 119 in Alabaster is champyschicken.com. We talked a lot of basketball today. A couple of notes from last night we didn't get to. TCU upset Texas Tech last night. Michigan State looks good. Michigan State's in first place, by the way, 12-3 in the Big Ten. They beat Purdue last night. Purdue's now lost 3 straight games, and State's defense looked really, really good. Wisconsin's good. They're a game back. They beat Illinois again. Illinois has lost 5 straight games. 95-74. Illinois has got some injuries and some losses.
I just don't know how good this Big Ten is.
I don't either. According to KenPom, Wisconsin is the best Big Ten team right now. They're 7th. Alabama is 6th. Wisconsin is 7th.
I had them 7th, and I was going to ask you, Brown, when Wisconsin was last good, most like their football team, running game, slow, methodical in football when they were last good, and in basketball, they seem to play that Bo Ryan style, right? It wasn't really high-end, high octane. This team was 10 of 23 last night. They scored 95 points. It's a different-looking Wisconsin team.
It is a different. I mean, you go back to that was Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker and those guys. That team that played for a national championship. And at that point, I thought they were the best team in college basketball when they lost to Duke. You guys remember it was Grayson Allen's coming out party as a freshman?
Yep.
I don't trust the Big Ten. I mean, this Michigan State team that has now won 3 of 4 had just lost 3 of 4, including losses to USC and Indiana.
Yeah, 13th in the KenPom is Michigan State. It goes in KenPom anyway. Wisconsin, Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, a team we talk almost nothing about, at 20 and 6. Michigan and Illinois. That's your Big Ten teams in the KenPom there of any note.
Indiana's job in the Big Ten is open at the end of the year. Brad Stevens said over the weekend he's happy in Boston, has no desire to get back into college coaching. Was great at Butler. He's an Indiana native, but
I don't think he's ever going to get back in the game.
I don't either. I think the one that would test him is if they do fire Hubert Davis and North Carolina were to ask. I wonder. I mean, I think he would probably still say no to North Carolina,
but he is an Indiana guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to say no to Indiana,
I think he has a great gig. 2 names to watch. And according to Jeff Goodman, one name they should hire but probably will not because they haven't been making good coaching hires.
This is Indiana.
Mick Cronin was asked about it after the loss. Minnesota beat UCLA, by the way.
Right.
Upset last night in L.A. Mick Cronin was asked. He says, a lot of positives here in Los Angeles. I like it here in California. So he didn't say no, but he was basically, I'm happy where I'm at. And then, of course, Dusty May's an Indiana grad. His first year at Michigan. Michigan's good. they will target him. Jeff Goodman says they won't be smart enough. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he's hinting that Indiana won't be smart enough to go after this guy. But Grant McCasland at Texas Tech wins everywhere he goes. He'd have more resources at Indiana than Texas Tech usually has, at least more tradition. The NIL world may be changing with Texas Tech, but
they're going to have to knock on some doors. So
Well, I will say this in KenPom: Houston's your top-ranked Big 12 team. You know who's second?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama 6. We just mentioned Wisconsin 7. Texas Tech is 8.
Yeah.
In front of Iowa State and Arizona, you find Texas Tech.
And I think he was really good at North Texas. I forget where he was. Also, another stop along the way. Really good basketball coach. But he's one of those guys that Goodman sort of hints that just not sexy enough for a program like Indiana to go get.
And Mike Woodson
Mike Woodson was sexy?
Because he had an NBA history and I guess something else.
Well, he had played there. I mean, you hired one of your own. This is one of the, as you mentioned often, one of the challenges of hiring one of your own. And that was one of those deals that I always say, if Mike Woodson had never played in Indiana, he wouldn't be the Indiana coach.
No
And
chance.
I don't know why you hire people that way.
And Brown will end with the fact that Texas Tech, their big NIL guy, had a pretty good day.
I want to get his name real quick. So, Lance, do you remember this story we talked about, the NIL guy at Texas Tech that owned Double Eagle Oil?
Cody Campbell?
Cody Campbell is his name, and he founded their NIL. And we mentioned he owned Double Eagle Oil. We were joking. I bet it was oil money. We looked it up. Double Eagle Oil and Petroleum. Sold yesterday for $4.1 billion. This guy founded the Texas Tech NIL. If I'm Joey McGuire.
I mean,
guns up, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be a challenge to see if you can build a program on NIL in a place like Lubbock,
You
Texas.
could buy him a new horse, a new double team.
Yeah,
No
but
doubt.
$4.1 billion, if that's what you sold for, now you're out of the oil business. I don't know if I'm giving any of my money to NIL at that point.
Dude, if you gave $100 million to NIL, you've
got-
got
then I've only got $4 billion
You've
left.
got $4 billion
Got to
left.
get creative on the tax write-off.
Yeah. All right, that's the show. We're back with you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, to react to the games with these guys. Reaction with Taylor tonight at the conclusion. Whichever game ends last, Auburn or Alabama, will be on after the conclusion of the last game tonight on our video platforms with the Basketball Show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.